noise because Maggie's up there fucking with her. Mhm.
And we're live. Surprise, surprise, ladies and gentlemen. um,
Right.
we're back with a fresh slice, delicious divination. We've got Barry Signwaves and Todd, of course. What's going on, Barry? How are you?
Hey, brother. I'm doing good. It's yeah, I guess we're wrapping up July here, moving on into August. It's just a weird world, man. Um, I'm all over the place with like my emotions, my feelings, my motivations. Like it's really, and it's not like a bad chaos in there. It's it's kind of like a losing control a little bit, I think for me. Um,
Thing.
yeah, yeah, I don't know. I've been having like a lot of like little gentle mishaps is a good way to explain it, like smashing my head on something, I cut the tip of my finger off a couple Fridays back. I
Nice.
don't know, just like a little like not serious to like, anything real bad, but I've just had kind of a foggy, hazy, chasing the clock kind of month, I guess. I don't know, man. It's been pretty hectic, but just enough to where I can still like relax through it all, I think. It's just frustrating, like I'll fucking hit my head on something and um kind of be like, "Oh, fuck, that really hurt." And I'll be sitting there and then I'll don't want to hit my head on anything else and fuck, I'll hit my head on something else when I'm doing that. Like I feel like getting attacked a little bit, like the world's closing in on me. But
Sounds like you got some friction energy going on.
sure. What about on your side, Ben? It's been things pretty decent with you.
Yeah, man, it's been busy. This is a super busy week. Um, I was on TV talking about doodling in my doodle class. That was pretty wild. Um,
That was really that was a good segment. I thought you did an awesome job there with that.
Thanks, man.
It's
Yeah.
just like a little 5 minute clip. I think I'm not sure how big the audience is for that, but it looked like right on the morning news, something you'd see on ABC or something. It's
Yeah,
pretty
I think
cool.
the one I sent you was the Facebook one. We actually did that after we did the TV one. It was kind of weird because they literally just like started and they were like
Uh-huh.
on the TV one they were they opened with like a sort of like a thing of like talents that like celebrities had, and I didn't even know this was they were gonna do this. And then they just like walk over and started talking. And I was like, oh shoot, okay. So yeah, it was
Right.
fun. Definitely unique. I'm not used to being in front of the camera, but yeah, it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got my CPR and first aid certification this week, so I was doing that in the background. Um,
So
that
you can French legally, pretty much.
You're not supposed to do that now. You're supposed to use a plastic barrier. You're not supposed to actually touch other human beings anymore.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I have a cold system in me still there. Wow.
I did yeah, I
COVID
did
thing? Well,
huh?
do they do that because of like a COVID thing or what?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. Obviously, if someone's bleeding and you get their blood on you, you really increase your chances of, uh,
Yeah,
accumulating a problem of some type. But yeah, you're just not
right.
supposed to do that anymore. And I did the CPR on the dummy, and that's really pretty difficult, but I am glad I learned it. It's really empowering in a way, if that makes sense. Um,
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people who carry those skills around, and it's something that's pretty obviously life-saving, critical.
yeah, yeah. They've been in, so like, you have to do like an online course first, and I was blown away at some of the information in there. Like, I don't understand why none of this is taught in school. At least I don't remember any of it being taught in school. There's one part where they're talking about the Heimlich maneuver, which pretty much anybody could do. And
Mhm.
there's a part where they talk about doing a self Heimlich where you use like basically a chair to kind of ram your gut into it. And I was like, I don't remember being taught that in school, and I don't understand why. Like these are very. If everybody knew this stuff, like that would be tremendous. Like everybody would have a little more confidence and know
Yeah,
what to do in these situations, at least a little bit beyond like freaking out, and just not doing anything of use. So pretty
yeah,
cool.
that's
Um,
cool. You're gonna use it. You'll need that for your schooling. It'll be nice to have that on your kind of like your resume and
yep. Yeah, it's a part of the school training that I had to do. So, and I wanted to do it. Like I planned on doing it this summer because I figured if I'm gonna teach and do all that stuff, like I do, should know these things a little bit, and it's not that hard.
right.
It's surprisingly easy, honestly. Uh, yeah,
Around a So it's yeah, what kind of tools can I provide for myself or that I can carry with me that, it would really suck to have a situation and have zero training and then sitting there at the time of the event being like, "Oh, I don't know what to do." I mean,
exactly. Yeah, it's like at least have something. And they say, obviously, like don't go out of your skill set. Like I wouldn't try to do much beyond CPR or anything really, because I don't know anymore, which is fine. Still just a
mhm.
little bit helps, and you could save a life. So, uh,
Right.
it is cool. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
awesome, bro.
Otherwise, man, that's um been pretty chill. It's kind of a yeah. It's definitely a weird vibe. I think with the bigger world, because everyone's kind of wondering what the hell's going on, and
Mhm.
um, I kind of don't give a shit. I'm just like, hurry up, like figure it out. Like this is well beyond stupid at this point.
Yeah, I've really stopped kind of seeing what they're feeding the people lately. It's kind of like, yeah, it's just boring, I don't care. It's literally doesn't do anything for me anymore. Like looking at this shit, it's just I don't know if it's just a sheer waste of time or if I just literally can't get anything out of it anymore. I used to just kind of look at the stories for, the symbolism and shit, but I don't even care about that anymore. It's just disgusting and
Yeah,
I just and it's just a huge distraction from yourself. It's really anything that they can keep firing at us to kind of keep us locked into I don't know, the smoke and the mirrors, the left and the right. They
yeah,
really don't,
yeah, and
just
it's just caking or not caking, but like uh delaying the removal of their positions and so forth. I mean, that's all politics is at this point. It's just keeping it keeping their seats warm.
correct. I mean, it doesn't matter like the Russia stuff, the Ukraine. I mean, fucking whatever shootings, guide stones. I mean, it's just so much noise, man.
Yeah.
Uh, It's but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm really looking forward to whatever this future is going to be. I suppose it's sitting here in our now with us, but
Yeah.
it's I'm just excited to just have to see everybody to like do some hard work. I mean, finally, like it's going to be a position where there's going to be a realization that look, there's a lot that needs to be done, and it needs to start right now. It needs to start with every person. There needs to be self responsibility. This is something that we have all been giving away. Essentially, we've been giving away our ability to choose. We've been letting others do that for us, and you can see exactly where it's gotten us. I mean,
Right.
we're
It's
I don't
gotten
want to say
us nowhere.
our entire food system, our entire education, medical system. I mean, they're all systems essentially. None of them are connected to nature. I mean, they're all very just. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, It's I got my boy though yesterday from the airport, so pretty
Nice.
much he said to me, he's like, every time I see you, Dad, it's like the world's not getting to you more and more, but you're just kind of sick of it more and more, I guess, which is funny because we had just gone in a store and like whenever I go into a store, it irks me that people have no like spatial awareness of what's in their physical location, or maybe it's just a lack of consideration for others. And this could just be my narcissistic self thinking it's all about me, in the store. But it just blows me away all the time that people are so blinded by their essentially their desire, right? It's sitting there. I need this. It turns the volume down on every single thing around them. So then they're not. It's like a consideration thing of sharing space. That's
Hmm.
essentially what time is doing. It's a sharing process, and when you're not being aware in space somewhere with other beings, it's I don't know. It's just unattractive. It's like it doesn't even feel like it's a human. It feels like it's a fucking program or a robot, some kind of automatic system that's there in your experience that's once again narcissistically for you to make sure you develop patience and all these other things. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, we call them NPCs.
Yeah, yeah. Which says PC personal computer and it is neat.
I
But
noticed that with driving a lot, especially here in Columbus. I don't know what it is, but it's like the stuff I've seen here, I don't know. I mean, I've been stopped in a turn lane and had people like literally just like drift into the lane. You think they're gonna head on collision. You're like, what is going on with your mind? Like, how do you not see a stopped car in the middle of the road? It's like, oh
uh,
my God, people. But yeah.
I heard bad on carjackings. Like it's like top of the nation almost, and car thefts. Like just the other night, there was like 200 vehicles stolen in one night. Like
Wow.
fucking, which is like even more than the Gone in 60 Seconds movie. I mean, these people are fucking. It's
That's
pretty
funny.
nuts. Um,
Yeah, I don't
yeah,
know.
man. July 24th. Last. Let's see here. We are in the middle. Where are we at astrologically? So we just hit Leo tropically on the 21st. And then sidereally, that's going to put us in early Cancer. So
You
we're
want to
very
look at
much,
a chart?
what's that? Yeah, we can look up a chart. Let me pull one here and I'll post it.
I
Let's
posted
see.
Rudolph Steiner's chart a couple of weeks ago too. It's pretty wild. He's a Pisces. I thought was interesting.
His chart is very wild. I was actually looking at his chart and I had a fairly hard time like making sense of Steiner looking at it
Hmm.
because I am Steiner. So when I'm looking at his chart, I mean, I'm trying to put a face on these positions from who Steiner is, and I just don't see it all the way yet. I need to study his chart a little bit more, a little bit deeper. It's probably because I have a tendency to go right for the ascendant or the midheaven. I don't know. I'm kind of a lazy surface skimmer. I just want to go right to the good shit, see what's going on. And he doesn't have a ton in those positions right there. So it forces you to go deeper, and there's not easy things sticking out on the top, which is great. And he has a lot of stuff, I think, if I remember, below the horizon. So it's occult, hidden, not seen.
Hmm.
And I think he had some exaltations too. Let me go. Do you have it in delineation right now? I remember you shared it to me.
The Steiner stuff is in the RL Steiner channel. Um, you just scroll up a little bit. It's in there. It's a kind of confusing one, but it's got both the table and the thing. But uh,
Okay.
but yeah, if
Yeah,
you
I
want
see
to
it.
do a today's date or whatever, that's cool too. I'm cool with whatever.
Yeah, let's pull up. Let's pull up today. I'm gonna get a chart going here, and then we can just start to break this down. Maybe make some sense of the confusing times.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think that'd be cool.
it's definitely we're opposite Saturn, right? So Saturn rules. It's gonna rule Capricorn and Aquarius 60 consecutive degrees, and opposite that position, you have two different entities ruling 60 degrees, the sun and the moon. So really the sun and the moon is essentially Saturn's reflection. So Saturn is the being, and the sun and the moon is like the smoke in the mirror that Saturn can use to essentially see Saturn's self with. Let me do today, and we're in that reflection spot right now. So that's maybe why it might be a little bit hard to find your being essentially. I mean, we're in the opposite position in a very left right sine wave back and forth, kind of situation. Let's
So,
see.
oh, I put you do sidereal. My bad. Yeah, I don't know how to
I
change
can get both. I mean, I pull them both up. Let's see. We got
Oh,
oh
here we go.
07
I got it.
2022. Oh, did you just pull it? Okay. I'm like putting it, bringing it out right now. 10:19 a.m. Create. All right, boom. Lots of color, lots of stuff above the horizon right now. So a lot of stuff seen, everything exposed, viewable. Let me go over here and chuck this in on the channel so we can all see this. You probably just put it in. I think, a different site.
Yeah, no, post yours. That'll be cool.
It's coming.
I'm always
Let's see.
fascinated by the sidereal changes. Oh wow, this is totally different. What?
So
Wow.
I posted, that's a tropical I threw up, and I'm going to also make it,
How
I'm going to make,
how are these so different?
I did LaGrange, Kentucky.
So this one's going by my time zone? Why would they be that different? We're not that far away.
Well, I
Must,
put
oh, it's going by UT. My bad. That's probably why.
So you did Universal Time, right?
I guess so. I just put it in this. I use this website because it's got decent like horoscopes. So I usually go there, but yeah, they might be way
Okay.
off.
I'm gonna pull. Well, if you use Universal Time, it's gonna post it off of England, so it's gonna say that you're centered
Oh,
over in England. I mean, we're at another 120 degrees different over here, so I mean, it's a whole huge
trash.
shift. Yep.
My bad.
So you're good. So this bottom one I just put up, this is our sidereal chart for right now, this minute with where I'm at. If you're in the US, I mean, it's all gonna be similar to that right there. I mean, really, the sun, if we think about the East Coast, we're 10:19 a.m. So that's going to put 6:19 a.m. out on the West Coast. So that sun right there, you can see instead of being in the 11th house where it's very visible above the horizon, it's just come up from the east, which is that ascendant position, is where, and really that position, the ascendant, the east, is directly above. So when you look at a rising sun, imagine that you are on like the belly button of some huge being and you're looking up, you can see its nose, like you can just see parts of its face, and then all of a sudden it's this sun comes up from behind its head, and boom, everything on the front side of the body is got that light. That's essentially what that ascendant and descendant line is when it makes its appearance from behind the head directly above, and then when it goes behind the body for underneath the feet is the descendant right there.
Hmm.
So you can see we've got right now the Leo ascendant, and this is sidereal. So that's going to show us that the fixed fire right now this time of year. This is definitely a place of sound. This is in the journey of light. We have a Virgo start, a pure, so the horoscope, that's that 12 or 13 measurement system right there. You can measure anything on it. All you do is you find out where it's born or where it makes its appearance, where it manifests at. And then you know wherever this point is, okay, this is its spring or east position. It's directly above. And then you can work the rest of that thing's life path or circle off of that point. You can know, okay, its rising position is here. And that means it falls in its opposite position and it's balanced in between on the two centers. So essentially right now Leo Cancer energy is our rising sun first house energy this time of year. So 6 to 8 a.m. in the morning, that first house energy, we're going to be having this like either this fixed fire if you're tropical or cardinal water, Cancer sidereal right now. And you can
Steam.
think about how you're getting up in the morning right now because you've got the signs are your space, and your space is how everything feels. So if you were to go into, like in a very cold area, your space around you would be very different. There wouldn't be fluffy animals walking around. There wouldn't be warmth to feel. There wouldn't be like water trickling by, green leaves. So the space and the sign is showing you essentially the air, the qualities of consciousness, and that which you can breathe. So we are breathing this fixed fire tropically and this cardinal water. Um, this is how we're filtering our consciousness this time of year through these two things. Now, the cardinal water is a very big, it's the cardinal is physical. Okay, cardinal is your incarnation. Okay, it's your vehicle, it's your actual physical experience, and essentially there's no such thing as physical as matter. That's just a way of saying that something is sharing a dimension and it can't go through each other. So they bounce off each other and they appear physical or to have walls. But in reality, that could be a whole realm of light. We could be in a mind, and essentially all these things are thoughts that are all of the same structure. Therefore, they bounce off each other and they can't go through each other.
Hmm.
Um,
I like to call them density, or I like to call that density. Yeah.
right. Well, and
Mm-hmm.
think of the term spirit. So, spirit spears things and is able to go through, pass through. Now, when
Yep.
spirit cannot go through something, it gives the shadow of death. It creates the black, the dark, the arc. And that's where you need to bring your own light right there. And that's the story of the black holes and learning to absorb light. I mean, that's one of the big things of the mind is, controlling your thoughts. What do you take in? What do you hold on to? How do you carry your light? How do you filter your consciousness? Essentially, that's this realm right here, in my opinion. It's and it shows you how what we're doing with mind stuff, right? We're attaching a nature of feeling to it, which is going to be pretty sure the heart. I think love, feeling, the heart, and the real heart, it's not the pump in your chest, it's the spine. So inside of you, that's the most sensitive area is your spine. You fuck up something on your spine and you can get really fucked up if not be done.
Spine's
Um,
your life. It's your life.
right.
So when you
It's
go to your
connected
next
to your
life, you'll take
whole
your spine with you.
right, right. And your spine essentially is the sperm and it
Hmm.
impregnates the egg that is your mind. So this fluid that I have fucking shooting up my spine, going into my brain, and then doing like a fleur de lis up top and going out and over and around and giving me a nice coating. That's all fertilization of the egg right there. And I think it's liquid hydrogen at this point, is what I think it is. I think hydrogen is essentially the substance that makes everything in this system move. I think hydrogen starts out from below as liquid hydrogen, and then I think it rises, makes the air, and gives circulation to every single thing. I think that's essentially what the nature of the blood is a hydrogen system that's manifesting, and you don't need the pump to pump the blood. The blood automatically within itself has circulation properties to it, has hydrogen moving it. So really what you're looking at with the heart is like a hydroelectric dam. You're harnessing the energy that's in the blood, you're using it to power other things. But the
Yeah.
pump, it's not, the pump is the blood itself. It's pushing the entire system. It's not the heart that's moving the blood.
Right.
it's the heart that's harnessing, things from the movement of the blood. And
I think I hate saying it's a pump. I really think the vortex makes a little more sense, but
uh,
I like the way Steiner kind of describes it in that there is no like all the functions of your body are exactly based on how your blood works. So then it's all I guess the best way I can put it in trying to translate it is like if you think of your organs as like different sectors of royalty and almost like groups of um systems that know their function, and so when they look at your blood, they're like, okay, this is what we're doing. He's got the intention in his blood, or like the fire in his blood, or if you don't take care of your body, you don't have good blood, so you can't even further develop, and then
has
um
the clot been doing? It's been clotting. It's been killing the natural movement in there inside of the blood.
right,
And
yeah,
you don't want it in there. You want clotting on the outside. So if you get a cut or something happens, the clotting stays on the outside and is your barrier to keep things within. If
yep.
you put a clot agent within you, dude, your fucking river is going to turn to stone. I mean, we're looking at a Medusa. I mean, it's
It's
and I
crazy. I watched a video with the CPR class about I had to watch about controlling blood, and that was really fascinating because of you have two different colors of blood if, depending on what part of you gets injured. And
is it blue or
so if you cut an artery, yeah, it's going to be darker blood. And if you
okay,
cut a blood vessel, it'll be brighter blood.
right? Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
And shoot, I forget where I was going to say with that. Oh, I know the clotting. The clotting is so fascinating. As soon as you get cut, your body immediately starts clotting.
It's
I don't remember learning that in school, and I can tell
uh,
you that's a superpower. Like folks, like
that is
congratulations, that is a freaking superpower. You don't even have to think about it, and your body tries to repair itself. Like that's
right.
incredible. Like
It really
uh
is.
yeah, yeah. It's so
That's
simplex, and yet it's like that is incredible, folks. Like your body literally fixes itself. You don't have to tell it what to do. Incredible.
that amazing. Like it's literally like magic. I mean, and it's so in place that we treat it like some process that we don't even care or think about. I mean, obviously we'd care if we didn't clot and
Right?
I mean, it was just
You
a
just die, unfortunately.
miracle that's occurring. I mean, I just on last Friday, no, not last, 2 Fridays ago, um, sliced the tip of my finger right off. It
Oof.
wasn't all the way first, and then I put it on an ice pack, and then the frozenness of the ice pack ripped the chunk off, like a.
Oh,
So it only took a week to almost completely heal and come back. Like I'm looking at it, and it almost looks like normal fingertip up there again, and it was bad. Like you could see the all red section of your finger,
ooh,
like where it's just the blood area.
yeah.
And I don't know, a lot of pressure, thank God for clotting. And yeah, I mean, it's back. Like that's to me, I thought I was going to be down and out for a couple weeks, having a fucked up right finger and not being able to like use a keyboard or fucking pet an animal with it. I mean, I was just a little bummed that I was going to have to slow down. I don't like to slow down. And okay, man, fucking healed right up. I always call in Pluto hard if I have anything serious that I need to get through. I put it right on Pluto. I give it all to the transformer, the regenerator. Um, I listen to see what it needs to do the repairs, and I try to do it. And Pluto has been very very good to me. I have Pluto right near my ascendant, so we're close. Yeah, we still gotta look at this chart. I mean, I only fucking got to the
Yeah, let's
so
so well
Pluto fifth house. Look at that first, second, third, fourth empty. You know what that means right there? That's
no.
your whole first. That's your self right there. So that is the so the whole left side of the chart is self. The whole right side is others. The whole underneath of the part is like not seen. It's
Mm,
things that absorb, like water and earth, and everything above is going to be the fire and the air. So the mother is below, the father is above, and then you've got the left and the right. So you can see that the left below portion, that's us right there. That's the fall. We're
we're
on the left.
underwater.
Yeah, exactly. And there's nothing in there right now. And a lot of people have a hard time with things like that in astrology. What does it mean when there's nothing in there? Well, what it means is two big things. First of all, it's unfiltered. So you don't have because anytime you have a planet in these areas, those are essentially light absorbing bodies, is what those are. So they're going to steal or filter, give a color to the light that's coming in from Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, etc., whichever sign we're talking about. When there's none of those there, you are the thing that's going to be absorbing it. It's going to be raw. So we have a very raw self, a very, there's not things in the way filtering, absorbing it. We're getting some good, definite pureness coming in. Everybody is. Everybody has these positions right now. There isn't anything in Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio around the Earth right now or whatever. So nobody has anything in those signs. They're very open and clear and free. It also means there's no geometry being formed. So there's no nodes there. These are all, that's actuality. When you have no, you kind of have possibilities and you've got what actually happens. You need things there to spike down, ground onto, to absorb light, like the planets or whatever, in order for actuality to manifest. So the way I see that big gap right there is there's not a lot of things manifesting from yourself right now. However, it's a very good time to see yourself, to see kind of how you're absorbing the light raw in terms of nothing in the way. It's just you and that personal selfhood quadrant right there. It's very empty. You're not going to be doing things in society right now with just yourself or with just the isolation of your being. You can see there's a lot of stuff on the right, which means with others, relationships. There's a lot of stuff above the horizon. So you're not going to be doing personal, unseen things with yourself right now that are for you. You're really sharing in a lot of experiences that are above and with others. And this is going to be the start of every day, essentially last month, this month, and next month. That's what it's going to feel like. So your morning times when you wake up, you're going to have this whole empty self quadrant. You're going to feel this pull to be sharing an experience with others, to get out, be seen, be visible, which is Leo, right? The star of the show, jack of all trades, likes to know a little bit of something about everything and pretend to be, a master of everything, but really is a master of nothing. Is more of the jack, right? So we
Hmm.
have so we've got kind of a feeling on what does it mean to have a whole empty quadrant like that with no planet. You can see that there's no color going in there, right? There's no greens, reds, purples, gray. Not nothing is spiking down in selfhood. So you're
Yeah.
not which is good too. Think of doing some not so good things. Those are not going to attach to you. You're playing with possibilities right now. You're playing just the air that's coming in. You don't have any earth. You don't have any water to absorb this light or this air, this fire, or this air, this father forces. As your mother underneath. So it's coming through and it's just breathing. You're what you take in, you're giving back. You're not necessarily holding anything for yourself right now. There's not a
Yeah.
10% reaction that's going to ground and go missing and appear here.
I feel like
So
too it's like sort of like an emptiness of like one and then all, two being the value things, your surroundings, and three, four being your home ideas. It's like all those are just like blank slate right now, and everyone's just watching to see what the expression of Leo is, right?
right, right. Because yeah, that first house, that's cardinal activity right there. That's your consciousness, your what we call our physical experience, your incarnation. That's your main filtration right there. It's your human, okay? Car is incarnate. And then the second house is always going to be the fixed house, right? So it's going to be your feeling. Fixed is your parent energy. This is where you come from. It's the center of that, which is the one and the three, which is fittingly the 13, which is the B, which is with the two in the center is essentially a pole, having a positive up top and a negative down below, which makes a one, but is a two, which is
Hmm.
12. Why the clock starts at 12. Um, so you've got the and it's two TO and it's two TOO and it's two TWO,
Right.
which like a toe, like Pluto, and like a toe, like on your foot, like a Pisces, like the duality of the two paths that you can choose as well. And then the TO2 shows you movement, animal zodiac movement. You're moving. And even the things to us that appear frozen, like they're not moving, those are just some of the slowest moving things, like the mountain or, the mineral kingdom. That's still moving. It's just
Right.
not moving. So it's moving a lot slower than you. So it looks still to you, but it's not.
Did you like
Uh,
the counting, the doodle counting I did, where I show how the two symbolizes both aspects of linear or lines, essentially?
Sure, I did. I love how you did. I mean, you made it real simple too. Like, find a way to cover the spaces. You can draw all these different types of lines, and now you need to make the spaces. You
Yeah.
put two dots, and you're just going to see what comes through your hand while you move around, and then you're going to connect the dots, and then you're going to essentially tie it all together with those two. The, how you connect each dot to the thing.
I was telling Nathan, I was like, anybody who watched that got a microdose of esoteric science.
Mm-hmm.
I even got the what's the point in there, so.
And it looks cool. Like, I mean, you could
Yeah.
see that just by that quick presentation of under a minute. Like, you could learn a pretty not learn. That's the thing. You're not learning something. You're
Hmm.
you're allowing things to come through. You can because a doodle, it's like a muse. Like, you don't know what the fuck's gonna come out of that thing.
Right.
Um,
That's the
it's
fun
a
part.
it really is, and it's inspiring, right? Because all of a sudden you can realize, oh wow, this is like this.
No.
And this, if this is that, that would explain this. That's no way.
Yeah.
So it's there, it's in you. It's
Yeah.
it's
So we're
yeah,
tapping.
man.
I'm converting people here to
I love. You
subliminal
started what's the
esoteric
point?
science. Yeah.
You started on what's the point? And I was like, man, this is great. This is great. They ate it up. They ate it up, dude. They
Yeah.
like.
I had Delicious Divination, one of the doodle pages on the display too, so that was on TV at one point, which is pretty hilarious. Um, yeah,
That's
man.
awesome.
So so we kind of got an idea on this big void in the bottom. Let's
Yep.
talk because there's only two stars in the bottom. We've
Yeah,
got
yeah.
Saturn and
So Pluto.
Capricorn kind of bookending. Well, we got. Wait, is that Uranus or Pluto? I
That's
forget.
Pluto.
Pluto
That's
and
Pluto.
Saturn are bookending
Yep.
Capricorn. So
They
Capricorn
are.
is what, like your boss energy, like your work energy.
Yeah, the giver. It's the black. So when Morpheus is handing the red and the blue pill, the black, the thing that gives, the thing that provides, the thing that is saw, like Saturn saw means to get. Saga, to get the story. Ga, to give. You get the story, you give the story. A saga. So Saturn, to give, is the black, giving you as Morpheus a choice. So Saturn doesn't tell you what you have to choose. Saturn just presents the left and the right to you, the sun and the moon. Okay. Now you are the white. We went over that. It's the reflection in the glass. So the result of the choice, which is white, all color. So all color is expression, meaning, choices, saying something is something. It's you're you're in the realm of emitting. White is the collection of everything that's ever been emitted. Essentially, is like a white blinding light. This is Aquarius. So white Uranus rules Aquarius in esoteric knowledge. Saturn also rules Aquarius, but Uranus is going to represent consciousness and will, and change. Those are the three big things of Uranus. And think of consciousness, fixed air, and the ability for your mind or your consciousness to change instantly. Time doesn't exist there. So you can have all these things in your mind, and then on a dime you can change everything because this brand new thing essentially just replaced it all, and it was more powerful. It The
Hmm.
other stuff was built on sand, and a big rock came along and it essentially got rid of all the sand. Um, so Saturn, so check this out. Pluto right here, after this big gap, we only have one entire thing making a blue line, making a 180. Now, these are very important. If you ever see a chart and look what's going through the center, look for the 180s, because the 180 position is spear it, which is Saturn. You
Hmm.
get.
Yep.
Okay, so it's going through the center. You
With the
are going to
sun.
be in the very center, okay, as the black sun, absorbing all this light. So anything that comes directly through the center is vital to you, and it's spearing you, and it's building your core data. So whatever program we're in, the sun and Pluto opposition that's occurring right now, and you can see at this time of day it's got an 11 fifth house flavor. So that means friends, moral qualities. The fifth is going to be the children. Okay, so you've got the home four, you've got five, you've got the children, six, you've got the close relatives, seven, you've got your relationships, right? Because it's seen, it's public, your show. But the private home family life's under the horizon, six, five, four. The first spread is five from the home is your children, your kids. If you are a kid, this would be home, parents, cousins and shit, number six.
Hmm.
So five is going to be essentially the child. Five is also represented by the past. It's also represented by Leo, also represented by sound. The things that have been said drive the future. Everything that is consciousness right now is all from these past sounds. So we've built up this framework from all these past sounds. Now, what we have going on with this chart is Pluto is sitting in the position of the past, and it's directly opposite the sun, which is the emitting force. The moon is the absorbing force, the sun being the emitting force. So you can see opposition's 180s are like a mirror reflection system. It can't go any further, and it essentially bounces off something and comes back. And we've got Pluto moral qualities, regeneration, transformation, civil unrest, destruction, creation, deep mysteries, deep occult, the super physical, which is going to be the super construct behind dimensionality, behind things that share sameness. That's going to all be Pluto stuff right there. So oppositions are essentially, like I said, they're for your core. the only time you can ever have something go right through you and experience spirit is when things are opposed and sitting directly in front and behind. It gives you an access, and then you're able to access all the deeper recesses of the light codes within whatever position is going across you and spearing you.
Hmm.
Sun 11th house right there. Like I said, very the things that are going to fuel your nurturing, or your the things that are going to fuel like your life giving things right now during this time of day, during this time of year, are going to come from friends. They're going to come from moral things of the past, right? So those are going to fuel you, um, or they're going to hurt you, because an opposition is, this or that. It's going to be going this direction or going that direction. You're essentially moving forward or working backwards on oppositions. You're either growing up in a straight line, or which is straight up, and grow and ascend, or you're falling in a spiral. Okay, which is circular, or not, but it's not circular, because circle is perfection. The spiral is a circle that fell,
Hmm.
essentially. And there's no, if you fall, it's just like a leaf. It spins, and it does like an overall big spiral too, with while it's spinning. So that's how things fall. But things don't rise that way. Things rise straight up, fixed air, right to the top. I mean, it's a straight line of hydrogen air, the high dragon. So really, all you can know that directly below, directly opposite Aquarius, is going to be liquid hydrogen, which is your black sun. That's going to be whatever probably Leo is. Leo, and that's probably why Pluto exalts in Leo. And that's probably going to be the smoky god thing, inside, or underneath from our position.
Hmm.
I saw the clip this week. It was supposed to be a Freemason explaining how our system works, and it was really powerful. Um,
Was that the
it's
video
stuff.
where he draws it out as it looks like a talks about it being basically a CD, like a CD disc?
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah, yeah, I
exactly
seen
the
that one.
video. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is accurate, I think. Only to a very small degree though, in terms of how it
What do you
actually
think the
works.
North Star is there? You know how there's like a bubble, like a dome, and then the North Star would essentially be, I think, the reflection of the black sun inside, because it's directly above it. It is essentially, and that never moves, whatever our North Star is. So, and our North Star is four different stars in a 26,000 year cycle. So if
Hmm.
we have Polaris, we have uh Cephas, we have, or Cetus. Fuck, I don't know.
I
There's
don't know.
three
I've
other
been
ones.
trying to figure out the sun in general, because I think, well, I've heard a lot that it's a circuit, and I've been watching Dragon Ball Z, and not to get too off on a tangent, I would like to talk about Dragon Ball Z later though, but more. But I've been trying to think about that in the same terms because like I think that's how the world works is the same way. And they have like shots of the sun and they have in the animation the sun, like when they talk about solar flares, well in the
Huh.
animation the solar flares are dragons. And I was like, that's kind of cool because like if the light in general is just like a big circuit that operates the same as the way the electric grid works, which is like, it's a circuit. The whole thing's a
Right.
circuit. Um,
Right.
I've been trying to sort of think about how that works. I don't. It's so hard to explain these things with words. That's what I'm realizing with all of it.
I think one of the hardest parts from our perspective is we're kind of blinded to everything that's inside. So when we walk
Hmm,
around using our senses, you're looking at the outside of everything. So
yeah.
you have to then see that you're looking at the crust or the shell, the Christ essentially. Christ and crust are the same. And it's gonna be, you need to like reverse engineer that shit, man. It's it's all like coming
um,
out from.
right?
Well, so here's the thing. I've been listening to Steiner's video. He's got a 8 hour lecture. I listened to the a 2 hour segment on Deva Chan. Um, Deva Chan is essentially what has been described as heaven, but it's we all go there. That's the idea. Is you all go there. Again, this is exactly demonstrated in Dragon Ball Z perfectly. And there's like a degree. There's like the lower. There's like different degrees of Devachan as well. And so the object,
Devacon?
yeah, Devacon, I don't, yeah, I call it Devachan because I'm used to like 4chan. So, but yeah,
I got
Devacon.
you.
Um, and there's degrees of it, and there's different steps towards going there, and you have to basically get rid of your physical desires, like to all degree,
Yeah,
in order to proceed into Devacon. And it's perfectly demonstrated in Dragon Ball Z. It's kind of astounding because the creator supposedly said that the show doesn't mean anything, and I'm like, that's weird because you're literally describing everything I've read in Rudolf Steiner to a T.
right, right.
So it's pretty
Pokemon
cool.
Ball, similar. I
Pokemon
mean,
Pokemon's
yeah,
weird because they have animals in there, but they don't eat the Pokemon. And I don't know, ever since I heard that, I'm like, I don't, yeah.
wow.
It's a
Yeah, I've
weird.
never looked at it. I just thought the shape of the Pokemon balls looked like our system. A yellow sun up top, white, red
Mhm.
underneath, white sky. I mean,
Yeah,
hole in the center of the CD is really the thing that makes it all happen, I see.
think so.
That's because things come through that from the black sun and the angles that it comes, and now these are straight lines that come out from the black sun, and then it hits, well, it sends out just like a V that comes out of this hole, and essentially the north star is going to be sitting direct like over this CD hole space in the middle, and it's going to be giving a perfect reflection of that thing it's down there. It's going to be, so that's a super absorbing force down there, the black sun, and then the pole star is a super emitting force. It's like nothing could ever, you couldn't ever like have a particle like, it's only sine wave shit up where that pole star thing is. It's like super force radiation emitting, like it's like
Hmm.
this constant gaseous like ionization, and spreading everything out, making sure things are constantly expanding. And
Hmm.
then that's it with the black sun. It's making sure things are always constantly contracting. And I think Steiner goes into that because I was listening to a show the other night, and essentially what happens, I think he said, is that, or no, this might have been that video with the CD. Things disappear into the middle, but they reappear at the same time on its circumference, and that's the symbol of the sun essentially, and that would make perfect sense.
That's
And I think
interesting.
that explains the eye, like in the pupil and your mind. So when something, you see something, it essentially disappears into the point in the center and reappears into the circumference that is your mind, and you see it inside and you have thoughts about it. And
Well, that's
I
called
mean,
that would be a tangential relationship. If you do code, you can do a tangent wave, which will essentially you do exactly that. You say, here's wherever the wave starts, when it gets to the opposing aspect of that composition or canvas, then it will go back to the start. It'll come through. So that's a tangential relationship if you're interested in geometry and stuff.
hold on one second.
Squirrels.
Yeah. Hey, hey, Lucy, it's okay, baby. Holy shit. They're both happy. She's a baby, like, hi, honey.
She's
Oh,
wired
you
up.
fuck.
She's like concerned. She's got her mind in cancer, so she's
Yeah,
like, oh my god.
yeah. She's protecting her area. She's been bringing like a bunch of toilet paper and shit in there, and Maggie's just being a bitch. She's just like, walking around your fence out front, fucking with your shit. That's what she's
Judging you.
Yeah. Yeah. Because this was Maggie's area, so she doesn't like that there's a little baby over here making it home, but she gave it up. So,
Mm.
all right, where were we?
So
So this hole in the center of the CD, that's what makes the whole thing work. And so there's like and here's the thing, there's an arc and there's only one window in the center that looks straight up. So this arc is going to be your electric arc, like where things, on the Sistine Chapel with the two fingers going to touch, it's like the two fingers are going to touch. They never actually touch. As they're getting closer, it creates this fucking, essentially, this chaos of manifestation, like where all this energy has to go, and where it goes is to the side reels, like on each side. And what you see with the North Pole is essentially, if you started going to what we say north, you kept going, just like in the Smoky God, you're going to hit this point where you wrap around and go to the inside of this disc, essentially, and that's the black sun side. We're on the outside. So what's neat is the true rays of the black sun don't hit us because they're coming from underneath. They radiate through us. That's why Tesla knew that the land was the battery. So you could just go 6.5, 7 feet down or whatever with a certain material at a certain angle and essentially harness this energy that's permeated, from our position.
yeah,
What we can see though is, and think of the Smoky God, how things grow incredibly huge
yeah.
on the other side when they have their sky as the black sun. Our sky is Mercury. Our sky is the sun and the moon, which are just 2 points. They're not even real objects, they're just 2 points of reflection, essentially, as a result of the paths crossing from the black sun and the pole star. And that's all those are. And it gives you the classic compass square shape that's so popular. It shows you this X, these 2 points right here are exactly where the sun and the moon appear. And one moves faster than the other, like the rabbit and the hare racing around the circle. So you get full moons and new moons, I mean, it's
Yeah.
kind of,
The
it
tortoise
makes
and the
sense.
hare, right?
Right. But to us, it appears the moon's moving slower because the moon's always lagging behind in our sky, but really it's lapping it each day and going a little bit further because
Mm.
it only takes the moon 2.5 days to move through a zodiac sign, and it takes the sun 30 days. So the moon is really fucking humming along. And if you think about it too, think of this. So you're on Earth, you're looking at Mercury and the sun. Mercury can only go 30 degrees away from the sun. Like that bitch is tied to wherever the sun's at, Mercury is at. So tell me this. Could you ever get a sun in like Leo and Mercury and Aquarius? It wouldn't be able to happen, right? Because that'd be way more than 30 degrees of separation between that. Those are opposite positions. You could never have that, right? So, and then Venus
Uh,
is 60 degrees from the sun. So Venus can only go 60 degrees to one side or the other. So you're
hmm.
never going to opposite the sun, ever, ever, or Mercury opposite the sun.
Really?
Now,
Is that why the
yeah,
Mercury's they always say it's the closest to the sun?
yeah, the perihelion and the other position, the closest and the furthest, are, I mean, well, that's going to get into like the combustion stuff. So when Mercury conjuncts the sun, I mean, it's going to go through its retro phase, its Mercury retrogrades, and all that is us looking at the other side of its turn. It's an ascending versus a descending, or coming towards or going away from.
Hmm.
But what I think's neat is Mercury. It takes Mercury 88 days to, to travel the zodiac, right? It takes the sun 364 days to travel the zodiac. So how come if it takes Mercury 88 days, why don't we get 3 Capricorn Mercury cycles each year to the sun doing one loop? Shouldn't that 88 days dude be like humming around and fucking hitting oppositions to the sun? But no, it doesn't. Or does, you know? So I think what's going on here, we have the what we call the sun. We have bodies that's go essentially everything goes around this thing, but from our position, we're in between that thing and things outside of us, like Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Pluto, Neptune. Saturn being the last visible thing you can see in the sky, which makes it the crown. It's the height of observable things. So that's Saturn, the keeper of all things. You can't see Uranus, you can't see Neptune, you can't see Pluto. Um, anyways, so we're in this in between those things as the earth, as the heart, whatever the fuck we are. And when Mercury, it's remember 88 days to go it takes to do its year to go around the zodiac. But from our perspective, it doesn't do 3 trips through Capricorn. It's tied to the sun. It can only go 30 degrees. Its concentric circle is little, so that its wings are small. It doesn't get to go way out to the left and the right behind us, so it's or does it is my question. And I think what's happening is that when Mercury is doing its 88 days, it's going around the sun, but if you were on Mercury, course, you would be experiencing that zodiac energy. This is all going to come down to position. If you took in its direction, and if you took the symbol of the sun, the point with a circle around it, any point on the circumference out there is going to show you vital information. And that position is it takes Mercury 88 days to go around that circle. Earth 365, Sun 364, which is a little weird. Um,
How does I don't know, I guess the thing I have an issue with is when we say that everything is like a mechanistic type thing, because to me, I think the system operates all like I think the whole thing operates within the analemma concept, right? Which would mean there's
yeah,
always going to be at least 3 angles in play. Like it can't just be two or any type of constant revolution, like I say, mechanistically, right? Because the system is supposed to constantly change. Um,
right.
that's where I like
And,
get like lost in astrology. I'm like, fuck that stuff. That's
yeah, I
anytime it
feel you.
becomes too mechanistic, I'm like, that's not. There's no way it works like that if that's the case. Um,
And I'm at the same place really, and this is why, and that's how I am with the shape of the earth. And all these things. Dude, it depends on whatever the fuck's in the human mind that day. If we're all
yeah, right.
all mind stuff, and you want to know what the weather's going to be like, well, it depends what the hell,
Yeah,
7 billion humans are building that day. I
right.
mean, that's that's where it comes from, I feel like. And I think the mechanisms of astronomy, astrology, and our entire system, the shape of the earth, what we call truth, everything is depending upon that. And it's like a river. It's always moving, changing, shifting, flowing. So it's
Right.
not something static that you can label or name.
Yeah.
So
Plus, it's you and
absolutely.
your sphere and your sun and your existence within all the other ones. So there's a lot of this. That's the one thing I thought about that Freemason video, and I like it. I think it works in some degrees, but I don't think it's like the answer or anything at all.
Right,
Because
right.
I think this system is when you actually get out of like the globe model and all that nonsense, and you get off like the crazy simulation theory, which I just don't really understand. Um, it's like,
Right.
and you actually like realize like how big this place is and how big the world is, and it's like it's huge. Like it's so big. It's massive. It has to be infinite. You just I don't know. I
Gotta
think
be.
it's a mental state you reach where you're like, oh, I get it. It is very, very, very big.
If
And
you can
then
find the edge, you can find the edge of your mind. That means your
yeah.
mind isn't in.
Yeah, and I think too, it's like when you realize how many people are partaking in this world, and that if you know, if it's infinite, that means there's an infinite amount of beings doing an infinite amount of things, and it's like it's I would say it's partially intimidating, but partially like calming and reassuring. It's like, okay, cool, like
Calm and sure.
yeah,
There's always going to be something to do, you know?
yeah, exactly. But
Because you're going to get bored. I mean, and I think you're looking at a group of beings that we've met up. We are in this timeline because we're fucking badass, whatever, light warriors or dark, or we're some kind of thing that has chased this motherfucker to the dark or light recesses of wherever we've arrived at. And I feel like we've got this energy kind of cornered, you know?
hmm,
And this energy works in the sense that it's all about fear. So you as part of whatever being a being in the program or being an operator or being a choice maker, you have the ability to not be affected by these attempts at fear, essentially. And as you progress down those paths, essentially, as you're getting through all those light codes, you're kind of unlocking your own core, I guess, beingness. Like you're
yeah,
as you go through. I mean, because what would be the only thing that could help you overcome the fears? It would be to know what you really are, right?
yeah,
It would be to have a sense of confidence and satisfaction where you've arrived at and what you're going to call your being,
hmm.
your environment, and
What's the
you
point?
know that anything that could come at you would seemingly you just kind of sit there and sip your coffee and look at it like, huh, okay. You know, it's you don't have to be in fear, you know, and I feel like there's going to be everybody's going to have to experience their own idea of what they've created for their hell.
Yeah,
And
I
why
think
I don't create a hell. I'd create fucking heaven everywhere, you know?
yeah, I think too. I think as a culture, you know, even in Steiner's time, you know, this was the agenda in terms of propagating
Yeah.
culture for people that get to make decisions on behalf of others. Is you know, it's they take your power willingly, and if you don't define your you know, your purpose, your destiny, like I've thought about that stuff when I was really young and no spiritual training and no psychedelics and stuff. And you think about destiny and you think about your purpose and stuff. It's like that's yours. You get to pick
Right.
that. You know, you want to. And this explains perfectly, you know, the death cults and the people that are willing to do the wrong thing because they understand the system and they understand that in the end it's all good. It's uh
Right.
and you know
Right.
they'll pay penance and because karma seems to be an esoteric truth. So I
Hmm.
think a lot of people like lack the I don't know the drive to define themselves and figure out what they want to do, but it's like the distractions are numerous and infinite as well. So it's very easy to get lost in the sauce.
Those distractions are the real drugs. I mean, essentially, we're talking about a responsibility here, and
Yeah. And
being
it's up to
don't
you
want to
how much you want.
how much of yourself do you want to claim? You know, how much do you want to hold on to? I mean, think of the automated systems that run inside you. You don't go tell your liver, your kidney, any of that what to do. Oh, hey guys, we just got another load of calcium down here.
Right.
We need to bring some over here. I need some growth on this nail, and then we're gonna let's get the rest up here. Build a little portion onto the pineal. Hey, grab me some. I mean, we don't fucking do any of that. Like that's all
Yeah, well,
beautiful
I love that's
shit.
yeah, like Steiner says, like basically when you put that food in there, your body, your organs look at that food and go, you must evolve. That's what it does. It basically tells the food you're a little bitch and you need to, if you want to be a part of this system, you better transform, like change. It's like that's so awesome.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, they're stepping stones, right? I mean, it's not like your eternity as your energy being is a fucking human form. This is a stepping stone. You hit the upper echelons of what you're in, and then you need to use it like a fucking cocoon and go off into your butterfly, or you need to shed it like the skin, like the snake fucking sheds the skin. It can only carry you so far. Everybody, even when you get to be a fucking dragon. I mean, you're gonna hit points. Where you're gonna have to go feel what it's like to I don't know, be a fucking planet, or be a huge conduit. You're gonna have to feel what it's like to be the all, to touch everything at the same time and to not be in time. You're gonna have to hold on to that and see if that's something that you want to be responsible for, because ultimately that's a being of yourself at a very, very deep level. We're all gonna come down to a place where we all sit and share and hold each other in. And how far did you go away from the fucking nest? I mean, all roads lead to Rome. So when you're this core emanating thing, you're receiving all this information at the same time. It's streaming into you, yet it's not even like streaming or linear or flowing because it's just like you could freeze it at any moment. And the very circulation of it all itself is its oneness. The fact that everything is uniformly just circulating as it should. And the circulation itself is the information being shared simultaneously throughout the entire thing at once. I mean, it's like there's these little cilia or feelers that feel as it circulates by, and the entire system of cilia sends in all the information at once to this being, and it doesn't even send it. It's like it doesn't have to get transferred, it's just there all the
Right.
time.
Yeah.
You know,
Faster than the
That's
speed of light.
right. And, we have to think of the fucking coverings you've got to go through to get to this point. I mean, you've really got to go cover up in some thick mucus sac stuff to get to this point of experience. And we would burn the fuck up. There's no way you could take all this earth and this water and go sit in the fire and the air and the super positive emitting force. It would rip you apart. The pressure would tear you away, and that's okay. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's like we're in a special spot to be able to appreciate what earth, what water, what absorption is. And I think karma fits nice because, of course, it's gonna, if you absorb shitty things, you're probably gonna, emit shitty things, or you're essentially you don't take a carrot seed and get a fucking cucumber. I mean, you've got a blueprint in there, and how do you get a blueprint? How do blueprints get built, and then how do they get executed? How do they unfold? I mean, we're
Well,
looking at the
well, it's made
absorption
by
of
the hierarchy of the spirit system, where you would have folk spirits that would dictate that down. Yeah, absolutely.
right,
But
and that's I feel
I
like that's what
do.
we learned.
Yeah, I want to add to you're talking about like the elements a little bit and how they work and being appreciative of them. And as someone who's been studying for a few years and like now when I look at the world, I see the elements a lot more, I guess you could say, and it becomes very appreciative of just understanding the system, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Yeah, what do you got on the elements? I definitely I see the elements as the original four, and it's like the Captain Planet, where when you combine the four, you get the fifth, which is just revealing of the etheric that is encapsulating the four. Because the four to the five, and think about that, a 45-degree angle, that's your quickest. terminal velocity to exit. It's the cut. It's the sharp. But the 4 to the 5 is going to be the 2D directional to extending to the breadth and the up and down, above and below, as above, so below. That's the 5th right there. And because the force is essentially pressure being forced down, and it's like you're getting flushed out through massive pressure. Think of the pressure that we have sitting above us with layers, whatever we call atmosphere and stuff like that on top of us. And it's amazing that we can just jump, float around, go take a run. I mean, you're talking some serious pressures, and you're just freely moving around like you're swimming in, or like you're in air. And
Yeah,
I don't know, dude,
that's
it's
like
not
your
for.
blood. Your blood pressure is tremendous, and you can
It's
increase.
like a crab on the bottom of the ocean, right? Think about how many millions and billions of pounds of whatever pressure sitting on that crab down there. He's got a soft, I mean, this thing's not even flinching. He's just down there in the darkness eating food, and that's the same with us. Like we can't even tell what we're in, like the pressure.
Right,
And it
that's
makes
like
me think,
this.
have you ever seen those things where they take something valuable or secretive and they bring it up at like 30,000 feet and they shut it in a pressure box, and then they bring it back down, and you literally can't open the thing unless you get a chamber of 30,000, like, have you ever seen things like that where they
Oh,
lock at high altitude, and then it's like a safety device where you either need a scientific like lab where you can build up a pressure of X what it's like at 36,000 feet,
wow.
or you have to literally take it up there to open the box and to
Huh.
get whatever valuable out. I think it's one of the most beautiful locks there are.
Pressure, you know.
You could do the same with like a deep ocean system, like take it down real deep, Mariana Trench it, shut it, and then bring it up, and you couldn't get it undone unless you simulated that same pressure.
Wow, that's insane. Hmm,
Right.
that's really cool. Hmm.
Maybe that's what Pandora's box is, kind of. Maybe that's where we are, where this. And imagine
I don't know
something
if that's
getting
good or
out of.
bad. It sounds kind of scary.
Well, a star would be born. There would be
Hmm.
so much pressure, it would explode. It would be the Big Bang
That's
if
kind of
we
like
are really
it's
locked
interesting
within.
you say that because we talked about bees before, and Steiner explains when a new queen is born, the bees see the new queen as a new light. So she basically hatches out of the egg and will be glowing or emanating light, radiating light, whatever you want to call it. And the old hive will go and they freak out and they don't like that because it's like a new queen, and so they
Wow, that's kind
process
of
to
cool.
change the order. Yeah, I can't help but feel like after reading that, I'm like, that's what's been going on. So, not to go deep in that because it's a waste of time, but like
Well, that
obviously the
is.
queen is probably gone by now.
Right. There's a new son, like a new,
Yeah,
healthier, young, beautiful woman that's gonna give life to the system and nurture it, and the old queen's fucking pissed.
if she's still alive, like I remember they did like a parade recently or a jubilee, but they used like a hologram or they used like a video pretty much, which is like why?
But yeah,
Why would boomers be using that kind of technology? Like, come on, people. That's
right. Yeah, she very well could be fucking. Yeah, I don't
it's
even
a
know.
huge process too. If you ever look up what happens when the queen dies or a royal dies, they have to basically pause everything and replace all the currency. So obviously when your worldwide economy is so fragile, they probably can't even actually do that right now because everyone would just switch to Bitcoin. So that's
That's
probably why they're
crazy.
waiting on all that shit, I guess. But
Yeah. So yeah, they're gonna make a big announcement, and then a currency change. Fucking yep.
you know, like, doesn't it make the most sense?
That's crazy, dude. That could be what's going on. Like you said, there's a lot of changes that occur when that
Hmm.
kind of stuff. It's the Bach Saga says that even really each year there was a money story in it, and Papa would bring down a gold coin, and everybody would get one gold coin with the number one on it. And you essentially, people would trade the coins back and forth for services, throughout the year. You'd give a coin, you'd get a coin. It was just like a money system for the people from the king, and it was all the king's gold essentially. And what would happen is next year, the king would bring down the new coins that you needed to do business. The number two. So you weren't going to be able to do anything unless you had one with a number two on it, and you couldn't get a number two unless you had a number one, and you could only get one of them. So you couldn't get somebody else's coins and get more than one number two coin. So there wasn't any point to like saving any. And I don't know, people would. I think what happened is somebody ended up hoarding a lot of the coins, and they made it so they would still get their number three coin, but nobody else had a number three coin because they had everybody's number two coins saved up, and they would get their one number three coin. But now they couldn't do business with anybody because they fucking just wiped everything out, So
The thing that's funny about that is like, uh, bankers know this shit. They've known this shit for hundreds of years. They know how to master exploit all of it.
I know it.
It's so whack.
They're always voting themselves out.
Yup, yeah, karma's gonna get you.
Right? Ooh, the big longer.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to go back to this chart. I did have one question though, because I forget what
Yeah.
the yellow lines mean. What are the yellow
To
lines?
me, those are some of the most important lines on the chart. Very good question. The yellow is the 150-degree angle. It's the rarest
Uh,
angle.
the quincunx.
Yeah, it's quincunx are an inconjunct. Notice, remember how I told you this blue line is critical because it's the spirit. It goes right through the center. I mean, those are, anytime you see a blue line, that's Saturn, that's big, that's your core. It's making a particle. It's giving something to the center. It's the symbol of the sun, that little dot in the middle. That's a fucking opposition right there. That's you getting marinated. Well, anytime you see a 150, you can guarantee that that is your environment of things you see, your shell. Look at where that lands, dude. Look at where that yellow line goes. So if you took the symbol of the sun, if you had a point in the center and then you had a circle around it, that circle around it is the yellow 150 line. Imagine tons and tons and tons of all 150s going around and making a circumference. That's exactly our whole entire realm. And this angle is so special that it combines everything unlike. So you can see in this scenario, we have Leo on the left side of the chart, and it's got a quincunx to Pisces on the right side of the chart. One is below the horizon, one is above the horizon, one is in a fixed sign, one is in a mutable sign, one is in fire, one is in water, one in the summer, one is in the winter, one is in the self, one is in relationships, one is in a 8, the other is in, I guess, a 1. I mean, essentially, you've got all unlike things falling into vision. This is our realm. The 10% of a reaction that's given off during the exchange, we're looking at that realm. You're like the trash of the reaction that manifests. And it's the part that grounds, is ground dead. And there's all the waste, it's left behind. Okay. But that's where things grow. Things can grow from the waste because of Prometheus took the light and stole it. So essentially you can organize chaos, right? So this waste, all of these different parts, you can play God, right? It's like the serpent in the tree. You could eat of this fruit and you can be like God.
Mm-hmm.
Be like the creator. So, and it's the pole. it's the serpent bearer Ophiuchus wrestling the sine wave or the snakes, right? Because a snake is symbolic of this thing going up, slithering up, and then it goes down and up. It keeps going across the pole to the left or the right. So it's showing you that it keeps giving you, oh, we're left, oh, we're right, but it's what is this, the thing circling? It's this pole right here, and that's you wrestling the left and the right, right? You're this center, this choice making thing. You're Ophiuchus. You're the elevator shaft, right? You're sitting there. You can't find button 13 on the elevator because you can't go somewhere to where you already are. You can't sit there and choose the place you already are because you are that. You've got to, if you're going to move, you've got to do one of these choices outside of it. So the 13 is the up and the down. It brings you up and down. The elevator shaft is in the center of the building. It's the spine. It brings you up and down. That is Ophiuchus. That is also the 13, which is the center of the 12, which is the prime number. It's a fucking Fibonacci number. And it's a B. A 1 and a 3 is a B, which is your body. And essentially, the body is built from your choices or your will, and your whole entire environment around you that you have to make choices from are these yellow lines, which is Lucifer. And this is the, like, if you take the Lucifer angles of the way the vision works, it's showing you that the only things our eyeballs can pick up are things that are all unlike each other. So when you look at anything in your reality, it's on this yellow area right here, making us, it's your environment around you, your circumference, and it's the result of all unlike things crashing into to give you something. So this squirrel that I'm looking at right here on my arm, it's coming from all these different unlike things to arrive as a squirrel. And I just happened to call this thing that falls in from all of the, I mean, fuck, a squirrel could be from kangaroo, fucking beaver, dog, cat, mouse. I mean, it could be falling in, crashing in from a bunch of things and arriving at squirrel, right? So I really love that quincunx right there. I love where this thing is coming from. I love all the opposites that are crashing in to give me squirrel, right? So you can love things of this, this is organized chaos. Once the squirrel pops in to spirit or to something grand, that might be a fucking weird mutated thing as the unlike things from all these things. But to me, from my perspective as God here looking on this side, I can really appreciate the unlikeness that has came together to now give me something that I value as part of the all and just as precious, and I call it a squirrel, and this is what it does, this is how it acts, this is what it likes to do. And yeah, so the love is a choice, right? So Lucifer and the will, it's had to come before the Christ. You have to be able to choose love. Love is never forced. So you can't have love arrive until you have the ability to choose. So it was a necessary part to be able to choose. Duality, Lucifer, the fall, you needed all that if you ever wanted to touch the really awesome stuff out there and, the eternal things. You needed Lucifer, you needed the will, you needed the ability to choose. And people don't like that, you know.
Yes.
It's just like you need the Christ. If you're, a Christ is showing that you are the love, right? You call me your Lord, yet you do not what I do. So a a warm, open, flowing, moving heart is a heart that's spiking down and grounding into its environment, into all. It's a compassionate thinker. It holds giving, caring, kindful thoughts, actions. It moves with and words it speaks with, and it's 100% being run by this connection to everything within itself that it can reach into, and everything outside of itself. You're looking at a spectrum or like and you are the center point. You are the point that's in between the in and the out. Like that's you right
Hmm.
there. and fuck, you're a portal for these two worlds. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, we check it off like it's nothing. Dude, this is incredible. And it's so simple, yet it's so complex. We could never even fucking scrape the tip of this thing. Like, this is huge, you know. This is such a mystery that it's beautiful that way. Why would you want to change that? Why would you want to go around and know everything and label everything and be, I guess, wrong because all those things are going to change? And how do you name something that changes? How do you do that? Do you call it river? Is that just going to mean something that's constantly changing? I mean, I don't know. Is that why it's the river of life? It's always changing. And death is, once again, a necessity if you're going to have life. So,
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. You are probably the death, and you're experiencing life.
Yeah.
And
We're a
you're
ratio
experiencing,
of the both, really. Right.
we are. I think you're right. I think it's, once again, you're that center point. You're the balance between life and death. And I don't know, man. I think it's a pretty awesomely powerful, incredibly crazy system that we really are just barely waking up to, dude. There's secrets here, man. There's stuff that we don't know what we're doing still, like with everything, with diet, with consciousness activity, how we're operating these things, with just we're just guessing. We're really just kind of, and that's a good thing. Like, you shouldn't be knowing right now. Like, this is a learning place. This is a, just keep yourself open and see what the fuck flows in, and you got to start somewhere type of thing, which is good because it's going to come down to intent. What are you lined up with? And that's what you're going to see. Your intent will show you where you're going. Like, that's your path you're on right there. But I don't know. I don't think you should ever be in a state where you're overburdened no matter what's going on. I think you should always appreciate your experience, even if you're sitting in a ditch in a civil war with, your brother or fucking little sister. I don't know. I really don't know. It could get really hard in the mind. That's okay. Like, it's just, you need to be able to go through anything. So if
Yeah.
you have fear in you, you're gonna get an opportunity to face it. Don't be scared of those situations. Don't have things in you that you can be set up for in terms of your own personal failure. Just fucking transmute it. Take your scary situation that you're afraid of and transmute it. Transmute that event that could happen that could scare you into something that, if it did happen, it would actually be doing this, and that's a very good thing. You can do that with every single thing that is in the. It's
That's
all
why
about.
I learned CPR and first aid because now, even though I've not done it yet, I still have at least an intro level on helping uh, another human being stay alive to a degree. So,
Right. Right.
you can um I think with the study of esoteric science and stuff, though, we do have the potential to really understand the system. And I think it is the same as psychedelics in that, like, you're going to learn, like, you can learn all about spirituality and you can learn about the system, the esoteric science system, and all this stuff. And what ultimately occurs is, like, your objective then is not to go preach to everybody and say, this is how it works and blah, blah, blah. Because the moment you do that, you're wrong. You're just
Right.
not doing the energy correctly. The objective is more to live it, just live it, and that's doesn't require you to preach. Like, God doesn't need a preacher, spirit doesn't need preachers, none of that stuff. It's
Right.
gonna do what it does because that's the system. um
Right.
and so, like, you then are empowered to live your life and understand, like, that. That's one thing I hate about the simulation theory because it's like, oh, it's all pointless then because, oh, we already lost to the robot, and it's like, like, that's not how it works. Like, any AI or neural network that had the chance to learn about esoteric science would just understand the same system and be like, oh, well, I should just do what I can to help these humans so that they can evolve and not waste electrical circuits. You know what I mean? That's how I feel it
Right.
would be. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Like, and it could be something like that, like a real benevolent AI that we've built, essentially. And I don't know. I mean, how do you, what does it even matter what we call it? It's kind of
yeah,
one of those things
exactly.
where how the fact that you can even ask the question, am I in a simulation, should show you that it doesn't matter. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
right.
are what you are.
Yeah.
Like,
If so,
who
let's
cares
fix
what
the
you
problems
feel?
still. We still have to address the problems like North Korea existing as a
Right,
tyrannical dictatorship. Like it doesn't
right.
matter. Like let's fix it. Yeah.
And what do you think that represents in our, like, as above, so below, or our mind? I mean, obviously, North Korea is probably this area of your own personal being that's very restricted.
Yeah.
There's a fucking dictator in there. It operates that system this way, always has been, says it always will. And end of story. So there's a part of your body right now that they're programming, that they want to be
Right.
like that. That's their goal.
Yep.
Your Iran, your North Korea, all those little places in your body, they want control of those seats of energy. And essentially your spine, Steiner says, is going to be, these are all just things, fractals of each other. So your brain is your spine. That those are the same systems. So you're going to have an Iran in your body. You're going to have an Iran in your mind. You're going to have a North Korea in your mind. You're going to have an America in there too. So there's an America part that's thinking it's free, and it gets to make all its own choices, but it's probably one of the most fucking poisoned and controlled ones, and they don't know it. The best kind of prison is going to be one where the prisoner doesn't know he's in prison. That's going to
Yeah.
be a really good prison
I think
right there.
North Korea represents the crater as a whole, like the larger crater too. Like the fact that we allow it to exist. Like I'm 36, so in 36 years I've known about North Korea, not entirely, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
So I'm old enough to
yeah,
understand what it is. So the boomers, you failed, like you're not doing your job. Like that shouldn't exist. That place should not exist as I know it. And so I see it reflecting into the crater. Like, so we talk about crater Earth and we understand that there's way more land, infinite amount of land, infinite more stuff going on in the world. We get off the crazy theories of, wet marbles and whatever,
right.
holographic, whatever, nonsense. Like, all right, we understand North Korea exists. Why does it exist? Why? And then I think that just represents our crater. If we think about Dragon Ball Z, it's like the world's way bigger and the system is in place. And so this system's probably being pirated just like North Korea. Like, we're in a bubble that is ignoring the fact that a bigger world exists. That's probably, we talked about the wakes of the chemtrails, whatever you want to call them. I still think they're
And that'd be an
vehicles.
ego. It's the definition of an ego. It's sitting there in its own bubble,
Yep.
blocking itself off from the membrane,
Right.
essentially the environment.
Yeah, could we even handle the concept of other types of beings? Like, I don't know. I mean, not in America,
Yeah.
obviously it would be difficult. But I think
You can't even handle other types of fucking cultures, skin colors, or
exactly.
whatever. Or at least that's what's programmed. Obviously, if you go meet some Americans, you're gonna meet awesome people everywhere in the world. You're gonna meet awesome shitty people too. I mean, it's just a
Right.
fucking mix.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem, and we've talked about AUI, OWI language, it's like if we
Yeah,
were to get
love that.
everyone on page with the same language, we could fix things way quicker. And obviously, if
Right,
you're running a country, you don't want, like North Korea doesn't want everyone there learning English. Like, you know what I mean? They don't want everyone learning
right.
about what's going on in the world. Um, so you can start to understand like how prevalent the mind control is, really.
Yeah, totally, dude. I mean, there's definitely these areas in our body that are, and it's a person, like you said, like, why does this even exist? Like, why are we in 2022 and we have supposed areas like North Korea? I mean,
I know if it exists as I've known it is, it's like that's like That should be priority number one. You shouldn't be complaining about
You know what's
Ukraine or
weird?
anything stupid. Grow
Yeah, I was
up.
gonna say what might even be weirder is like a Biden or a Trump or a Zelensky or a Putin. Like if you get right down to it, all these fucking beings are pretty weird control mechanisms to put in charge of big operations in the body mind thing. Like,
You know.
I mean,
They have to
I
know.
don't
Like
know,
they
you know.
know what's going on. Like there's no way that even 45. Like if he doesn't know what's going on, that would really astound me. Like genuinely astound me. Like really, you have that much money, that much resources, and you don't know what this place is. You haven't done DMD. Yeah, right. Come on, man. Those people
And that's
know
the
what's
thing.
going on.
They essentially stole all the world libraries.
Yep.
They covered it with they got destroyed in a fire. So now all this ancient knowledge is just thought to be lost and gone. Yet they have it at their fingertips hidden and they don't even maybe they use some of it. You know, there's a lot of stuff out there where we figured out the sound system here and like magic rituals like casting a circle, reciting some certain sounds out loud and having intention set,
Yep.
that's real shit. I mean, you're gonna
Absolutely.
start fucking playing with some shit right there and letting some things in and letting some things out. So that
Mm.
there that's all somewhere. I mean, I'm sure they've got volumes of it, you know. So it's fucking and that's the thing too. Like I'm at a point where fuck all that. We're gonna make our own system. Like we're gonna just
Yeah.
see what's here and fucking use it. Which is why I like AoE a lot. Like I think that language is I think that was channeled in from, you know, obviously something pretty awesome. And if you look at a lot of our UFO stories, a lot of the UFO shit has supposed hieroglyphs on it and stuff, you know. So I don't think the Egyptians are what we've been told and obviously there's just so many stories all fucked up.
Yeah. The history, I just don't. Like I still watch John Levy, and I think the reason I like John Levy is because one, he lives it, and two, he's literally trying to wake people up with his videos. He's like, look, like explain these explain these pictures. Which he puts up
Right.
the best pictures, but um,
Yeah.
the
He's not
history
saying
stuff,
what
it's
they
like, who
are. He's
cares, man?
saying, right, how does this happen? Like tell me how we got here, you know, like
I
that's
mean, the best answer is going to be mind control. If you're talking my life and you're talking my grandfather's life, it's mind control. Like it's very simple, you know.
which is
It's
government.
no, they did.
Control the mind. Ment is the mind. Mint is also the money. Men and T. You know, govern. What do you do? What happens when you put a governor on a car? Like you can only go a certain speed, right?
No, yeah, I think
Totally, what's happening, dude. I think it's required maybe for this state of consciousness. Like it's a obviously with our histories and stories being all fucked up. His story is fucked up. So your mind as above, so below, you've gone into a state of forgetfulness, right? So this whole entire mind system we're in is being mind controlled, and there's amnesia like on it. And narcolepsy and narcissism are kind of funny words that are close to each other. You're like you're always falling asleep and you're stuck in your ego. I mean,
I like those. Yeah.
it's right there, you know. It's because and what is narcolepsy? Like I think a Fight Club. I nod off, wake up in strange places, don't know how I got there. I mean, that's essentially kind of what you got going on here. I mean, it's like a reservoir for all the missing 10% of the reactions. They come here, dude. This is it, man. That's why everything happens in a 90-degree angle. Our 90 is our 100. So once you hit 89, 90, you go back down to negative 89. You don't go to 91. So,
I got some pretty cool
so our
numbers if you
10,
want to see them.
yeah, dude, I do. Because so our 10 is like a 90. Our perfect 10 is 90 degrees straight up,
You
which is
know, that's cool. I like that.
9.
I've been thinking, I guess if you multiply that by 10, but I was thinking like everything more or less operates on like a system of 1 through 99, and 100's like 100's almost like the circle. It's like a perfect number that really truly actually can't be expressed because you're always a lower aspect of 100 if that makes any sense.
What is wow, dude, I think I just saw something pretty powerful. So this 10% that comes in, right? This comes from that 150-degree angle. Everything we see is important because we only see a tiny percent of light, 3% of it. And check this out. That 150-degree angle right there only has a 3-degree window. It's got the 150 degree itself, 149, and 151. Those are the only 3 degrees that quincunx can form in. It's the rarest geometry out there. It's the rarest type of geometric shape because at 148 and 152 you get into new polygons. So you're getting into new shapes. And that 150 is special. It's only a 3% window of unlike things that appear. That's Lucifer. And that's the impurities in the mind. So that shows you that the 3% that drops in that we see, that's the 10% of the missing reaction. And that 10%, if you take a circle, you divide the whole entire circle out, and that circle is a 90-degree area, you're going to end up with, if you did it in 10 sections, 10 9-degree sections. If you did it in 12 sections, I'm going to get the calculator out. I want to see if this comes out even or if it has a neat decimal on it. So if we take 90 and we divide it by 12, 7.5. 7.5. Isn't that going to be 2.5 turns, right?
Of
Because you
what?
got 1 turn 3, 2 turns 6, half a turn 7.5, 2.5 turns. That's a very big number. And Ed Leeds-Scallan's work, 2.5 turns is, if you think about it, 360 plus 180. What is that? 900, right?
360 plus 180? That's
No,
540.
360. No, 360 plus 360. That's 2 turns plus 180.
Yeah, that's 720 plus 180, so 960 or
900.
900, my bad, yeah.
And so check this out. If you take that circle, instead of doing 360 each time, you do 90. You do 90 plus
Right.
45. What's that going to be?
Well, you
225.
would no, because if you're doing a circle, you're gonna quarter it, so you would have 490s. That's
No, no, no. But I'm
360.
saying the whole time around the circle. Remember, this missing 10% chunk is everything happens. Our max, our 100 is a 90. So take this whole circle and put 90 degrees around it. And that's the space what you're breaking down and seeing and dividing amongst. So you've got 90 degrees as your starting place instead of 360, the circle, instead of any other number. So that 90 right there, if you divide that out by 12, is 7.5. But if you take 90 and you divide it out by 13, let's see what that is. 6.923. Hmm.
Hmm.
6.92307. Repeating. It's interesting. I don't know where I'm going with all that. 69 though, that's Cancer, Moon. It's just neat. I think numbers are fun, dude. You got numbers popping up for your chart here? Oh yeah.
Check out the divinatory I put up for our gematria. We got some pretty interesting numbers. Uh, some interesting matches too. Blood and Pomp, 21. 21
Yeah.
Saturn number. That's your adult number. That's
With
interesting.
Leo sun opposite mirrored 12s. That's crazy. Blood
Wait.
pump
What was it? Leo and what?
mirrored Leo sun are 12 opposite 21 the mirror.
Oh yeah, yum. Um,
That's 87 blood, 87 for Sun Goku. 111
Son Goku
8.
is a character in Dragon Ball Z. essentially Hanuman, and I'm pretty
Okay.
sure he's referencing Christ as well. I'm pretty sure Hanuman and Christ, and I think that whole avatar system is the same system of an ideal being who comes and does the right thing always. I think that's what it's symbolizing.
Mm,
Which is amazing, because Dragon Ball Z
that is
literally
amazing.
shows you the whole system. I specifically recommend watching the 12th movie and try to watch Japanese. The English stuff always distorts the anything like too spiritual. It's not the correct way of understanding. So I do recommend the Japanese version. But
You get a perfect 100 on cardiopulmonary
oh, CPR,
resuscitation.
interesting. That's cool. Chaldean.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all the life we got. 18 on blood. That's awesome. 18 on Sun, 18
Son.
on Goku, and 18 oh he's got double 18, which is okay, so when I was reading this, his name is Son Goku. Uh
Oh my
Sun
God.
alone equals
Crazy.
54, and Goku also equals 54, which is hilarious because San, which would mean double sun, uh, is also another character in a video game. I don't know what her original video game, but she's in a game called Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and her name is San, and she is a Monkey King, just like Hanuman, or I think there's a whole bunch of
Yeah.
Monkey Kings. Uh, so yeah, that's
Dude, and look at the reverse ordinal, 27 and 54. It's 27, 54 is 27 doubled. And then we have, look at the Jewish reduction and Jewish ordinal, 51s and 15s on those two. Like a mirror.
which ones?
Just like
52.
on Sun and Goku. On Sun and Goku. Look at the purple lines, 51 and
Oh,
15.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
That's
mirror
pretty neat,
Jewish.
dude.
That's weird. I don't
And that
understand
50
the Jewish ones.
double. And then 51, I mean, that's the mirror 15. So that's pretty.
Oh, yeah, yeah, right. Yep, yep. Interesting.
Look at quincunx in astrology, 42. And then you've also got a 42 on pump. That's pretty awesome. I want to find a 43 or a 61.
Wow.
Those are the invisible elements.
Son Goku, 87, 87 in blood. Interesting. Is Christ partially the blood? That the willpower?
Right? The circulation. Yeah. There's some really good numbers in here. Even 1300 on first aid on squares. Okay. Seeing what we got on these big numbers here.
Yeah, first aid with the 1300. That's interesting. It's almost like, would that'd be the death card multiplied by 1,000?
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What's 1,000 mean typically? Do you know?
Oh, oh, well, well, it would be a millennium. That helps.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. 124, 124, Venus yellow, 7 red. Okay. I thought 8 of wands in astrology matching up with 40, 42. Was that what it was? Let me see.
Oh,
No, where was.
below Dragon Ball is last week's stuff.
Okay. Oh, I see.
Those were the dice
Okay.
you rolled, the yellow beat.
I gotcha. I gotcha. 111 astrology match, 8 of wands, though, from the
Oh,
prior
wow.
week. That was
You know, it's funny. 111 also matches Buddha.
really.
Mhm.
It's pretty neat. Let me see what else we got here.
Ethan watches. We were talking about 311 the other day, and 311 is 7 red that you rolled last time.
That's nice.
Oh yeah, there's a 15 in San too. Oh my god. Goku is
All the way out there.
Goku is Hanuman Jesus. We're a part of the same
Mhm.
clique. That's amazing.
That totally is a connection there. And that's a Dragon Ball character, right?
Yup. Yup.
He's like the Jesus of the Christ in Dragon Ball.
He
Okay.
uh he is essentially born with a tail. Uh And then it's essentially the same story as Superman, though, too, where like he comes from a different place and learns to only do the right thing and always does the right thing and will sacrifice his body to do the right thing, so forth. And he dies and goes
Okay.
to he gets the option to go to Devacon, but he decides to train to get stronger, which is really interesting. It's almost like you
Hmm.
saying that Christ and being Christ-like, I think, is like, fighting the good fight and being strong, spiritually, physically, and so forth. So that's
Not running
really,
away from it.
yeah, I mean,
Right.
he's always
Ab-
looking for the next fight. I would say at some point it almost is to a detriment, though. He's
Right.
always
It would
looking to
feel like
fight, but he's also the hero,
never goes.
saves the day.
Right. Right. Lots of. Let me see here. We got. Yeah, these 18s are nuts, and the 15s. There's a lot of them. Trying to see, is that 47? Okay. I don't see
Uh,
any 43s and 61s, which is funny because you don't see those, and those are the only two stable elements you can't see.
yeah.
That's
You
right on,
said
man.
41. There's two 41s. Or did you say
Well, I see
43?
43.
A 43, that's
Yeah,
right. My bad.
43. I see a bunch of 41s.
Here, I'll post a picture. I updated it with the 15s. And,
Have you done any more of those art word things?
oh yeah, man. Yeah,
I'd
I'll
be
share a couple for sure.
down to check a couple of those out.
Yeah, also, I did some the battle in heaven or hell.
Oh, nice. Did you do a
Uh,
bunch of iterations, like a?
yeah, I did like 50 of this batch. Let me try and find them real quick because I forget where they're.
Okay. I'm gonna
Uh,
while you're looking for one, you can pull a card here if you want.
yeah, we have a request from Amy. She would like an angel or animal
Okay.
card. Your choice.
I've got an. That's crazy. I've got the angel deck right here. I was just gonna fuck around with. So I
Right.
gotta find the animal one still. Yeah.
I'm gonna go grab a deck
Arizona.
real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. Let's see. We're gonna shuffle these up. We're on July 24th. We've got kind of that last half of summer coming, which is the descending side. It's kind of that heat settling, kind of it's the fall, the spiral. And definitely it's things are kind of falling into place. It's the way I see it. When they're rising up, it's kind of like you've got to hit your culmination point, your peak, which is going to then determine the way it reflects and falls. So you can almost know by the position of your ascension process where things are then going to settle. And if you're light as a feather, of course, you've got a nice slow fall. You're not going to hurt yourself on the landing. You're going to be able to take everything, bring everything down. All right, so let's see. Let's ask for what do we need to see in terms of this fall? How should we focus the rest of this summer energy? How can we guide it to its final resting place here? Let's see what we get. Ooh, we pulled the shapeshifter, transform and unveil your gifts. So that's a really cool card to pull. I'm gonna post an image of it here so Todd can chuck it up. But we have a woman with dark hair. The hair on the right side is like human hair, and the hair on the left side, which is her right, is like an eagle appearing and an
Nice.
eagle feather. Let me take a quick picture. Then I'm gonna
I got the
tell
Mayan
you.
deck.
You got the Mayan, nice. I love the Mayan deck. So
Yeah.
we've got. I notice right away on this card, I see a transparent serpent. I noticed the serpent kind of uncoiled is what it looks like, and you can see we've got the blue up top, the green in the center on each side, and the white down below. So that blue is your future. Anytime you see blue, that's going to be your quickest light. It's going to be way out ahead in the future, and that's your mind. That's your head. That's your mutable fire. That's your Sagittarius up there. It's also your Aries, your cardinal fire. It's your fire. It's your Leo as well. Your Leo represents your heart, which is your spine. So that's your fixed fire. You've got your cardinal fire up top, I guess, and then you've probably got the cardinal fire, I guess, would be down below the sacrum, but they say that's your head. But I like that as the cardinal fire from below. And essentially, the mutable fire is up top, that gas, that that energy that's expanding from the cardinal fire. The future, it's ready for ignition, so it's very packed with energy. And yeah, man, it's been uncoiled. We've ascended, and now it's time to essentially light the fire and see what's being revealed here. I think I just got a text from Amy, something about, yeah, she's going through like a kind of I guess a COVID thing out there on her vacation, essentially. Like, it just everybody got sideswiped with upgrades, I guess. And I'm gonna be getting those essentially when she comes back, because I was gonna leave a little early and not kiss her, but now I just don't fucking care. I gotta give her a kiss, so I'm
Nice.
probably gonna be getting that, and that'll be nice. But anyways, she sees that as a shapeshifter, and I do like that. That's why I really kind of the virus stuff it doesn't really scare me. I didn't know if I wanted to go through it on the drive. I got to fucking drive a lot and be kind of miserable being like that. But it'd also be miserable not getting to have a kiss when you could have had a kiss. So
For sure.
anyways,
I think
the
that's. Oh, I was gonna
go ahead.
say you're. This reminded me of the astrology we were talking about a little bit too with the sun. Or wait, I'm sorry, the ascendant in Leo. That's kind of personality and expressive or expression. You have to kind of shapeshift depending on where you are, or which group of people you're with.
Right, exactly. Let's see here. So I'm gonna find the page, see what this says about the shapeshifter here. Okay, to be read about. Is this alphabetical? Yes, it is. Okay. The message. Take your time and focus on developing your gifts and strength. So you've done all this hard work to ascend everything up, to get it ready, and it's telling you, okay, everything's where it should be. Now take your time. Steady this, guide it on down during the fall here. In shamanic traditions, a shapeshifter is either an animal that has the capacity to change between species, or a shaman who has the capacity to transform into an animal to go journeying. If there is a wild animal you are particularly drawn to or fascinated by, it's probably because you can transform to one in your meditation or journeying practice to go exploring in other worlds. When you shift into animal form, you can see the world through different eyes and tap into the world's animal survival skills to help yourself through a particular situation. You may now have been through many challenges and lows, but now you are in a space of transformation. You are moving beyond your past challenges and honing your current strengths. There are opportunities for you to discover and rediscover the gifts and talents that you were born with and born to share. All of your past experiences have only helped you see how strong you really are. You are an amazing soul who can change and transform in ways that people least expect. You have many talents that you will share in your lifetime. You are guided to stay focused on the light, knowing that it will guide you forward. When this card arrives, there's also an opportunity for you to tap into the power of your spirit animal. Note if you're seeing a particular animal regularly because its medicine is coming to you. And then it's let me see here. That's it. Okay. Um so yeah, shapeshifter, and we were talking about that earlier as being able to shift anything in the world of mind, any kind of thing that's coming at you that is disturbing. You can you're the shapeshifter there, you're the sounding rod. So if it hits you in a particular way and vibrates a certain thought off of you, inside of you, you need to shift your rod around a little bit to absorb it in a different way. Look for something beyond the obvious that this is presenting to you, because everything's dual nature that's coming at you. If it's seemingly bad, there's going to be a real hidden good in there somewhere. So find out the purpose of your bad North Korea. Like, what good could it actually be doing somehow? Is it a protection form? Is the sleepiness state I'm in some form of protection so I can gain intuition and trust and connection to the membrane? Is that the whole point, to let go of this ego and intellect that I think I have in order to access the real mind? I mean, it's a neat, definitely neat shape shifting time for everybody, for sure. You have to constantly shapeshift in this environment, it seems like, every day right now, in order to be able to keep it going, to keep moving happily, at least, and with ease. I mean, it's not easy, and this is a good card for, look, you've been through a lot of shit, you've been through some lows, and take all that with you and use it as a strength, use it as power to move you, use it as your fuel. It's use those victories from your battles to validate which you are, which you will be and always have been. There was no other result but for you to come through that, with flying colors on that, on all the things you've been through, or you wouldn't be here to reflect on it right now. So you carry it all as a victory. It's the hero's journey, because you're always the victor. You still get some time. There's still time. You get a new day. And if there's still time, there's moving time. All right, you got Mayan deck, Todd?
Yep.
Awesome,
So
bro.
we'll just ask it to show us what we need to see, and then I will read the book and post a picture for you as well.
Awesome.
Okay. Here we go. Okay, we got the Ick card.
Ooh, that's cool. Like, sticky. That's the sulfur stick. That's the gas absorber that absorbs all light as the dark gas. It's like a super battery. It's kind of neat. Is there black involved in the ick?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's gotta be, dude. That's her. That's the mystery. That's the chaos. That's the woman. That's the mother. And that's Saturn, Morpheus, giving you, right? What does the mother do? Well, I guess it's kind of the father, kind of providing for Capricorn. But it's a negative sign, Cardinal Earth, which is a female entity. It's the Cardinal Earth, the Cardinal Absorber, Cardinal Earth absorption.
I like that. Find the thing. Ick. Page 49. Interesting number.
7 times 7.
Alrighty. This is the Mayan Oracle, by the way. Not catch that. Alright, Ick. So, I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. The correct pronunciation is Eek.
I was gonna say eek.
Yeah. Common usage: air or wind. Qualities are spirit, breath, wind, inspiration, presence, truth, co-creator of reality, simplicity, unseen forces, integration of polarities.
Wow.
The symbol is a spiral whirlwind. The number
What?
is 2 for polarity.
Wow.
Um,
So maybe that's the fall and the spiral fall. Maybe depending upon where it's going to land is dependent upon the polarity of the pole, of whatever you've raised up.
yeah, perhaps. So it says shadow wisdom is, so the shadow is going to be, the dark side, but you know what I mean.
Where it's falling.
Right. Doubting your connection to divinity issues of separation, thinking you are separate from spirit. Its shadow transformation, learn to sense and experience your connection with the divine by acting on inspiration as it comes to you. The harmonic wisdom is an interval. The mudra, which is your hands, hands open beneath the mouth, blowing the breath of the spirit wind, then moving hands up, out, and around, ending with hands together as if in prayer. The meditation is, I am the fertilizing and loamy force of the cosmic wind. An affirmation is, I am the unified presence of spirit. Okay, so this one's got, it's got a little bit I'll read, I guess, because it's always pretty cool and inspiring.
Yeah.
So Eek is going to be as follows. I am Eek, spirit's fire, breath of life, Apollo's lyre. Spark ablaze in cherished flight, all I touch I do ignite. I am knowing, spirit flowing, fire filling form with light. I am the brilliant crystalline core, as cosmic breath I dance and soar. Life's essence infusing time and space, arousing creation with tender grace. Revelation of the beloved's face, mystic reunion divine. As I billow into Divine Mother's silken sails, we fill the spiral dance with forms unveiled that awaken the dazzling light upon the face of creation. All do I arouse upon the shimmering crest of my graceful descent. Breathe deeply of the pervasive presence. Feel its exhilaration. I ignite the circuitry of your potential. I mirror the potency of your presence, the completion of your polarity. I am the frequency of unseen forces through which, in this moment, reality courses. Hear me laughing as wind through the trees. See me moving, mighty ocean waves in rapturous vortices. All I touch, I stir into celebration in honor of Spiritus, divine elation. As galactic solar wind, I am knowing, danced as the one. Power purifying, I arise. I am inspiration as it flies. Let me lift you, free you, fill you. I carry the very breath of heaven upon my windy wings, enfolding you with the sweetest song simplicity can sing.
Wow.
So,
I saw that as the spinal fire going up, permeating everything, lifting it up like that hydrogen fixed air. I mean, that was beautiful. It matches your potency, dude. You hear that? Like, however potent, whatever you're building, however potent it is, dude, it has to be, it's dharma. It has to be answered upon. If you're pulling something in, it's going to be manifesting. So, if you say I'm going to be a dragon and you start building that fucker, I mean, get ready to go through those experiences, or vice versa. If you say I don't want to be here, fuck this place, this is way too much, then get ready to go through cancerous forces of eating yourself. So,
yeah.
but if you're a cocoon, like, this thing is just meant to essentially birth something, you know beyond, then that's probably, you're gonna call that in. Um, yeah, man, that's powerful. That's a really, really powerful set of words you just uttered.
Yeah, I like reading it. It's very, always fires me. Wow. Oh, no way. So I put those two cards we did in the
Uh-huh.
gematria. And we got, both of them got matches.
Oh
But
my god,
I'll share these, and then we can take a look at a little bit of art, and we'll go from there.
that's funny, dude.
Yeah, that's crazy. So we got the 1-1-1 match.
Wow.
We got a 64 match. 64 I attribute to chess, 'cause chess is 8-on-8 square grid game.
I,
With
I, that's
it I think the fact that it has a 111 with 2 letters is crazy.
And you said that's the Buddha too.
Yeah, it's the Buddha number too.
That's neat. It's that triple pole, dude. It's that center pole, and you've also taken your left and your right and made it just as your center, and it's 3 straight lines up. Fucking railroad tracks, bro. Real road.
Real word tracks. Yeah, I'll put Buddha in real quick so people.
And then there was, I think, astrology was 111, and then there was another word. We were just quincunx or something like that.
Yeah, I have quincunx in there. Here it is. So I added Buddha. Buddha has a lot of numbers. The 111, the 21, the 22, which is your like a master number, power number. It's got 40, which is an interesting number. I forget. 1998 also has a lot of importance, but I can't remember what it is.
That's neat. 1998, because that's a 999, right? Because you got life 18 with a 99 inside of it,
Yeah.
which is your centripetal, centrifugal, the two spins turn. I think a 9 symbolizes something turning. So you've got a rod. If you add a 9 to the rod, it then turns. So the 9 symbolizes movement. That's why they take a 9 on weather things and they put it on a weather map and shows which way the low pressure system is spinning. It's a low pressure system. Where
Well,
a 6 is, or it might be the opposite. A 9 might be a high pressure, a 6 might be a low pressure.
check this out. So, properties of the number 1998. This number would be written inside one of the walls of the Great Pyramid, and it would correspond to the date of the entry of the Messiah, according to Edgar Cayce. However, the
Oh,
Mayas anticipated the date of the second return of the Christ in the year 2011 on the Christian calendar. Let us mention also that the sum of the occurrences of all numbers of the Bible equal or higher than 12 gives 2011 as a result. Product
huh.
of 3 times 666 is, I guess, 1998. Date to which the Antichrist will construct an idol which will replace the Christ and the church, according to revelations received by Don Goby. See the number
Let's see.
666 for more details.
It's like really when the internet and cell phones just started to like go.
Yeah. Uh,
Huh. That's when they
so
discovered. That's when Pluto was doing something huge right there in '99, March of '99. It was something really big that happened. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. Yeah, it was a big Pluto time. And we just had our first Pluto return this year. In 2011 and '98, that's separated by 13 years. A really big number. Um,
this says 1998 divided by 60 equals 33.3. So
oh my,
1998 minutes equals 33.3 hours. That's interesting.
wow. That's when the Georgia Guidestone blew up 333.
Uh-oh. uh, well, yeah. That's I don't know, terrifying.
Yeah. I should have looked. I think I looked it up, and Mercury was doing its thing over near the ascendant, just like I knew it would be. Same thing with the moon landing, dude. I looked up the exact moment of the moon landing, Mercury ascendant in Cancer. So the media and a moon ruled space on the ascendant, and I think it was had a 150 angle to think Uranus, so a change of consciousness was coming in. And dude, it was all about, and Jupiter was in the 4th house, so home. We made a moon, we landed on the moon, so we were home. And the moon itself was in, I think, like a Mercury, either a Gemini or a Virgo. with that Mercury ascendant gave a lot of power to Mercury to change things about the moon, being in its with being Cancer too. So it was a big. And then 9/11, Mercury was right on the ascendant when the first hologram struck at 8:46 a.m. in New York. Mercury was dead nuts to the minute, which is crazy. So they knew there was like. So I think one of the big things in astrology is you can't see the seconds. So in order to find something that's dead nuts, it'd have to be one of its rotations where it lands on the minute. And I think they know, like on the things they worship, all these different times where the minute lines up, where it's dead nuts on the ascendant. And I think those are all ritualistic situations because you can always look up the timestamps of these big events and you can see, oh yeah, look at that, dude, Mercury dead nuts ascendant to the minute. I mean, it's just weird. They use Mercury a lot. Like that's their number one tool in terms of manipulating, things on
Yeah.
the left and the right. Because think of Mercury going out 30 degrees to the left or the right of the sun. It's the metal maker. It's that which, I mean, Vulcan is supposed to be in between them still. But essentially, the first kind of metal that's going to be able to hold itself down near a heat source like that is going to be that Mercury situation right there, that liquid metal, and that's dictating how things appear in your reality. If Mercury's on the right or the left of the sun, you're going to be getting a consciousness that's forming and streaming like that. If it's dead nuts in the center, you've got a nice even balanced symmetry without any kind of influence from Mercury on either side. If it's in front or behind is going to make a difference according to your position. So if you have Mercury in between you and the sun, that's going to be a blocker or inhibitor. And Mercury is going to act as your central power source to all, blocking out the black sun. And then if it's behind, Mercury's influence is going to be totally blocked and you would have pure influence. So Mercury is a big distorter. So you'll see things truthful or 100% blocked or shifted to the left or the right.
Tricky.
Yeah, Loki.
Okay, here I got a couple arts to show you. This is the battle of angels versus demons in heaven, as depicted by surreal artists. A little bit of Dali, a little bit of Bosch.
Where'd you put it at?
I'm uploading them right now. Yeah, I haven't. Last few days, I haven't had time to do this. I've been working on some album art. I will share the album art. I hope he doesn't mind, but I'm making art for Nathan Nevery. Doing some music and asked me to do art for him. So I will show you one of those. But these are the battle of heaven, angels versus demons.
Wow.
Turned out
Wow,
pretty
dude.
cool,
This is pretty powerful imagery.
right? It's really awesome how I don't know, just the way it puts stuff together. It's so
I see that second one down right there as that fluid shit that I'm rising up. And check this out. When this fluid gets up into the sky, the Father, the very end stages of it, because all water is metal, right? So all metal is essentially fluid as its core nature. And what happens when you get to the top of this watery metal spectrum, you get like crystally liquid metal, which are your neurons in your mind. They have these like weird crystalline power centers. So you're looking at like a synapse, brain, top of the fluid push up into the sky, and the purpose of any kind of that shit being up there. It's like a magical sounding rod to get things from the Father. I think that's a really cool there. I just see like a synapse neuron, but then if you look close, it's almost like a pool of liquid magic is sitting at the top of that
liquid metal kind of pull. And the thing is, on these, it really matches the texture and the feeling of it in my body, because the core is very hot. The core is very reactive if you go to touch it, and that yellow spot in there, and the core is like a pool. The core is also how you touch the base of your spine from the top. So what I would do here, I would make sure I have free space above, because if I touch this spot and I'm able to grab hold of it, I'm able to grab hold of like a thick, sappy connection that goes all the way down my back, and it's kind of numb once it hits like the center of my back down. But if I focus on it and hold it, all of a sudden that will start to move up, because just me focusing on it will bring, I think, those hydrogen bubbles and gases through it, and then it starts to raise the whole entire thing. In order to get those thick, sappy things down low, in order to circulate, you've got to pull it up through the rod, essentially. And I think that's the turning of the lead to the gold. And as you do this a lot inside, you circulate this fluid on to the outside of it, and I think that makes like a harder shell to your metal liquid thing. So this is the perfect depiction of it, where you've got this liquid core center that a lot of the times you're not totally focusing on, and it's sitting as a liquid pool of potential that you can go to touch. That's your core, your life river. And once you pull this up, like a volcano would essentially do as well, spitting out all its shit all over the earth, which then we grow in and gives us food and all these beautiful soils, you're making this fluid go up and onto its outside, and this is like your growth or soil that everything uses for nutrient, because it's like the core river stuff coming out to feed everything from the top of the mountain, and it flows down just like a real mountain would, and all the life goes up, and you get trees and animals, and then it just trickles downhill. But yeah, man, that's a really perfect depiction of what this stuff is inside of your spine. Like it's maybe hydrogen is all metal, and its liquid to its gas state are just the metals we know about in between there. And liquid hydrogen to complete gas hydrogen is going to be the journey of water, metal, and stuff like crystal. It's really neat, dude. These other ones are really neat too. I mean, next one down makes me think of the demons behind the Pope chair a little bit with those shapes.
Yeah, I
This
can see that.
battle of heaven. Yeah. I see a checker chessboard underneath almost too, with the way the floor is.
Yeah.
But the cloud and the earth, black holes are making up the the squares, which is pretty neat. That one, next one's cool, like a portal of light down the middle, but you've got to go under archways and pools of black. It's interesting. Ooh,
Yeah, it's really
down I see
wild.
it. There's faces in this one. Wow, like bodies. Look at that body on the left,
Yeah,
poking out.
right. Creepy.
Creepy. It's like, it's holding like a lab beaker in its hand, extending down too. But then I don't know. It's really neat.
Yeah.
That next one down's pretty awesome too. That's really weird. That reminds me. That's like, so that's the point in the back of your neck that this is how it starts right here. So you end up discovering this little area of space that's yours, that this demon black ground, this thing comes in from all directions, which is your nerves, your mercury, and it's trying to get that space because it's like the fucking honey, dude. That's where all the beautiful core essence of life is coming from, and your senses want that, so it spikes into that, and that's how you get mucus strands all through your entire system, which is the webs from the spider that are weaved, which is why you see the things like spiders come not weaving here. Your pia matter and your dura matter need to break that free space free, because now your pia matter and dura matter can't talk to each other, which is Peter. And Peter is Pan, right? Pan is Aquarius Capricorn. That's Saturn. That's why I have Saturn on the ascendant. But that area right there, you free all this from that space that you start with. You have to be able to that where it all goes to white in the center there. You have this knotty ball of like mucusy stuff, and that bottlenecks your fluids. So things can't go up and down. But it can never completely overtake your little area of Vulcan, your space, your choice, your will, that which is the forge. But you've got an attack on your forge, right? And you definitely have to free all that. And anyways, this ends up, those are all then rivers of fluid, okay? And they all come to circulate and to essentially connect to this area of intuitive membrane control now, and it moves a lot quicker. Now electricity doesn't have to fire through thick mucus and go slow. It can fire through air in fast fluid chambers to, water can instantly talk to itself the whole way through. And once that salt water turns and bathes you, it's generating a field in there. So you're literally a living being at that point. What you're kind of a dead being encompassed in Tartarus, buried deep down like this. You've got that mucus encapsulating you and swallowing up, putting something in between you and the light. And this is why there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And this is why it says you go through the door, not the windows. The windows are the eyes, which building the sense. The door is that straight shot right up the center, no curves, just right up. You're gonna make your arc. There's this their pillar of air that should not have anything going through it. That is your being. That's your space. It's a rod. It goes all the way up and down your being infinitely. It goes out your asshole and it goes up above, up your soft spot, out your head. It's a straight line, and it's yours. Um, Damn, dude. I guess I see that in everything. I'm looking, I'm looking at these other ones, and they're beautiful too. I think that bottom one's pretty awesome because that's like your thoracic region. I see that as the center of the spine where you get the mixing between fluid and matter. And the fluid and the matter, you're separating the two. You're bringing the fluid up, the matter's going down. Literally, you shit out the matter. Your ass is not in like a coincidental position down there. That's where the physical matter, hard, most dense stuff comes out, which means the opposite position or where the lightest light as a feather, those things are going to rise up to. Your gases, your Jupiter, all that shit. So your sky, your father. Looks like Nathan he got a 4 clubs today. I'm going to read it's a day to rebuild your thought patterns as you settle into the mental shifts from yesterday. It's a great day to define your terms. For example, like signing a contract or deciding with your partner if you really are boyfriend and girlfriend or friends with benefits. Be aware of stubborn confrontations as you may try your darndest to define your world in your own terms. Make sure to expand your mind to include others' perspectives. Whatever the structure of your newly formed worldview, realize that it's another temporary dwelling until the next arising of life comes again, which is what we were referring to today. Like you're a being of life, and this is a stepping stone, and it's a beautiful stepping stone, but it's not for forever. And it is forever, the fact that it's not forever. I mean, just it being one of your stepping stones logs it into foreverness. Enjoy the solid ground of your mental and sandcastle even as you realize it will shift again. And that's the truth too, to savor it. Just because it's not where you're always going to be doesn't mean you can trash it. It's not how it works. Speak out this reality for yourself today. My world comes to rest in perfect order, which is perfect for the spiral falling. We were talking about that. What kind of polarity is on that thing that's spiraling down, because it's going to spiral to its polarity point and be grounded. To play your cards right today, organize your knowledge space, clean up your desktop, for example. Yeah, visual field, the space in front of you, keep it clean, organized, free of clutter, and as without, so within. You won't have all these distractions like, oh, I got to do this and that, blah 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 blah. This is fucking dirty. This is fucked up. Just do what needs to be done. Organize it, put it where it needs to go. I've been on a tear doing shit like that, so it's definitely something in my life right now.
No,
But
that's what my class was on Wednesday. Well, my doodle school class, we did mind maps. So using doodling to sort of map out like just your thoughts and stuff.
I was curious how that went. Yeah.
Yeah, it went great. Well,
People
I
get
I
some success out of it.
I think so. I'm a little disappointed because I had a lot I really wanted to address, but like I had too much, so I kind of missed some good just
Good nuggets.
well, not good nuggets so much as like just missed like a good like explaining it as well as I would have liked, I guess is the best way to put it. Um, but it's okay. It's an opportunity to improve, and I realized like a lot while I'm like doing it too. I'm like, oh man, like there's so much that I can really help people get in their system.
Right.
So it's like, how do
It's
I?
helping you. It's helping you learn how to teach because, like, you went into something like this thinking, "Oh, this will be grass. This will be grass, and I can be on this." And
Yeah,
then you kind of, when you're actually going through it, like, "Oh, fuck, dude, step two." We had to go off into, all these tangents to get step two solid. So we didn't really get to three, four, but that's okay. Like,
yeah.
people kind of, just building the process is awesome.
Yeah, it's a
It's
new
neat.
class too, so like I have a lot, but like I figured the next time I get around to it, it'll be even more
How
revised,
many
so it'll
people
be
showed up?
fine. And
Did you have a good amount of people participating?
yeah, we had 6 people sign up, so it's pretty good.
That's
Um,
awesome.
tripled our class from last time, so maybe we'll triple it again next month.
Dude, yeah. Man, that's really cool, man. Congrats, Todd. I mean, just 6 people, like, being able to ripple some ponds, I mean, that's a lot. I mean, exponential seeds are really cool when you've got multiple people you can give some seeds to. You've only got to give it out once, and I noticed that spirit tends to work through, like, you're being a lot cleaner sometimes to get these beings what they need. If you might have been nervous or something going into something, you might find that it actually went fairly smooth and wasn't too bad, and it wasn't what you thought it was going to be. Spirit used that as an opportunity to heal itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. I think everyone enjoyed themselves. I think it's a real treat just to get to share the time with people and show them that well, as I was quoted there, but I was like, we're not here to like make the Mona Lisa. We're just here to, exercise our brains a little bit, and they like that, and
Right.
a lot of
Yeah, that's
people self. Go
just kind
ahead.
of like you said. This is a brain workout right here. You're gonna just,
Yeah.
you're gonna loosen the control that you think you have on it, and you're just gonna let it play a little bit and work out. Stretch out.
Right. And then when you have like some tools and like a couple tricks, as I like to say, to just like exercise that, just like it
Yeah.
is a lot like exercising and it's a lot like growing a garden, like what are you watering and then how are you doing it? Are you
Right.
doing just push-ups or are you doing other exercises and so forth? So when you have a bunch of things you can kind of start with that are very simple, you're really empowered quickly to like start using those abilities.
Right.
Drawing is
Like how.
literally 90% muscle, hand-eye coordination. Like that's literally
Yep.
all it is.
Big Gemini thing. Your hands, your connection to your mind and hands and doing. I
Mm,
think that's why they tried to. I think that's why we're so manipulated from Mercury and Gemini in that world, because what's being attacked upon is our ability to do. Um,
mm-hmm.
Christ, Christ's a story of doing. You call me your Lord, yet you do not what I do. You're not doing. You're just sitting there, you're preaching, you're talking about it, you're thinking about it. Nobody wants to get out there and do. There's a choice mechanism to will. Its furthest extension is the extension into doing, taking the will of the Father and bringing it all the way to the doing, which is the Christ or the cross. It's essentially that which puts a body onto the Father. That's that center point, and then you've got the symbol for the Son, the circumference with the center point, which is Christ, and which is crust, which is, we're on the crust. We're on the face side of the crust towards the outside. there's the inside of the face that's all the nutrient, where all the blood vessels are, where all your organs and shit are locked inside. They've got access to the black sun. That's the smoky god, that whole realm where things are beautiful, big, huge. Where you can tell it used to be beautiful, big, huge out in this side too. It got chopped the fuck down, and now it's a bunch of saplings, and then those got chopped down, and there's a little pocket of some little saplings left, like the redwoods. That's just a fucking sapling pocket from 2-3 thousand years ago.
Makes me
And
think of
now,
bread too, and crust is the best part.
oh dude, yeah, it really is. Like sourdough.
Nope.
Oh, killer show, Todd. A little bonus treat for sure. I think next weekend I should be traveling, and then the weekend after I might potentially be at the end of traveling. I'll have to kind of see where stars are lining up there and let you know.
Yeah, no worries.
Yep, yep. That's kind of why I wanted to sneak one in. I was kind of craving it, and I just knew it might be a couple weeks. So
Yeah, that's fine. It's been a blast. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Impromptu, we
yeah,
appreciate it. We're glad you're here.
and even if you wanna, if you did one, Todd, I mean, you got some other people on. It'd be a treat to be able to listen to. You know what I mean? Wherever the fuck I'm at, driving or wherever.
Yeah, I've thought about it. I definitely have asked some people, but we'll see. Definitely get in touch
Okay.
if you're interested as a listener.
Yeah. Yep.
We'll make something happen. I want to do a live episode too some point. I don't know. We gotta figure that out at some point. But
Yeah. It's almost
yeah,
like we need an awesome spot in the woods, but we need fucking like
yeah,
Wi-Fi too.
yeah.
Yeah, I know.
We'll figure it out.
We'll make
Anyways,
it happen.
safe travels. Thanks
Yep.
everybody, and have a great
Line your
week.
polarity up. You're in the fall, so make sure your polarity is where you want your sit to fall at. You're floating down in a spiral. You can sit there in the air and play with your polarity, shift your mind, be a shapeshifter, so that you can line up your touchdown point. The speed of your fall is going to determine where you land. You can slow down and be like a feather, and that spiral is going to get bigger. You're going to slow down. So yeah,
Perfect.
that's it, man. Much love, everybody. Todd, you take care, man. We'll catch up.
Yep, for sure. Take care, everybody. Till next
Thanks
time.
for tuning in. I love all you guys.